I shouldn't want you, I shouldn't need you, but I'm afraid that's not up to me. Cause when I hear you sing through my speakers, it's like my mind takes a hold of me. I've tried shutting you off for some time now, but I'm still hearing your voice in my head. Oh, I wish I was more than your fan now, and that your voice came from here in my bed. You're in my headphones, baby, in my headphones, baby, in my headphones, singing to me. You're in my headphones, baby, in my headphones, baby, in my headphones, making me bleed. You're in my
Sorry, was a bit busy polishing my trophy here. But hello and welcome back to Spike Nations. I'm your host for today, Pavlos, joined by coach, analyst, and genuinely lovely guy, Ryan. How you doing, brother?
I don't agree with the last part, but I'll take the other two. Like, yeah, doing good. Like, we got some really big games today. Two teams that haven't lost yet going up against each other. Two teams that haven't won yet going up against each other. So there's going to be a lot of streaks being broken, to say the very least.
Absolutely. But first, let's start off by thanking our sponsors of the stream and this tournament as a whole, Alienware and Intel, making this whole endeavor possible. So thank you very much to them. So make sure you do give them love. But yeah, as you did say, Ryan, we've got a lot of action ahead of us, right? We've already gotten quite the feeler about the hierarchical rankings of all these teams and how they've been playing up against each other. So now with that familiarity that we've gained, we now might have a better understanding on how things may progress throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point for all of the teams, it's still just top four that they need. They have a good amount of time before the semi-finals and all that kind of stuff in December to fix some of the issues that they have. But right now, it's just a case of making top four, whether it's first or fourth. I think the majority of teams aren't going to worry about it too much. I think for this first game, though, Turkey and France, both teams are mathematically locked in at this point. It's just a case of who can carry on with that momentum.
That is true. That is true. And that's what we'll be looking forward to. But we've also got, at the lower part of the bracket as well, we've got teams battling for survival, right? With teams that, like Spain and Germany, haven't had their best of days. But for anybody wondering how this tournament was all working out, in October earlier, we had the team building and all the national phases where teams managed to qualify into the international phase. We are now in day 4. Time has flown. And with that, we've got one more day after this to commence. And after all, with the 4 teams progressing, they'll be qualifying into semi-finals and finals, which will be presented at a LAN format over at Gamergy, one of the largest LANs in Spain. So that's going to be quite the epic one. So make sure you do not miss that. Mark the dates, 15th and 16th of December. As for the team standings, we already alluded to a few. Turkey and France running away with things at the top of the leaderboard, while Spain and Germany quite far at the bottom.
Yeah, Spain have had like the week of hell, to say the very least, last week. Like, played up against Turkey and France, who are both still undefeated. That'll change today because they're the first game going up for us today. So, like, Spain, I think, can ramp up today. Like, they play up against Germany, they get a win there, they beat Team UK on the final day tomorrow. There's still a chance that they could eke in at that point. Same for Germany, right? It depends really on their run of schedule. For UK and Italy, it's just a bit of a grudge match on who's going to keep that consistency. UK look decent. They've had a couple of instances where they've looked a little bit sloppy, to say the very least. And Italy have continued to impress despite some pretty close losses overall against Turkey and France. So their schedule gets a little bit easier. So yeah, today is very straightforward. If you've just started watching this tournament, it's the best day to get a good glimpse into what teams are doing well, what teams are not doing well. Espanol.
Yeah, and first off, for this matchup, of course, it's going to be Turkey versus France, the 3-0 teams. And as you can see, this team is nothing other than stacked. A lot of experience all across the board when it comes to Tier 2 or game-changer legends such as Smurfette and Schnell. Quite the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Smurfette making a debut for this team yesterday. Last week, it was Schnell playing in that position, and Smurfette just came in and actually had like a dream performance to begin with and continued a really strong run of form for Turkey. For France, however, they were scared a little bit more yesterday. I do think that we saw some good responses out of Italy in order to try and slow them down. We were maybe seeing Italy bring it to overtime, but there was some really good calling from the RGL Brams. Soon had a really good performance on the Sage, and Lux got his third man of the match out of 3 games that he's played so far on that duel list, and no surprise, he's been the player of the tournament so far, to say the very least.
Absolutely, and he hasn't been subbed out a single time, which we can tell why. Absolute
why would
menace.
You? That would be that would be a disaster. I think I'd actually file a complaint with the French ministers at that point if they actually did that. They have no say in that, but there's no way that you don't have Lux in this team anytime ever in the future. He could be 84, he should still be on this team.
Okay, we know how Ryan feels about Lux playing in the team. Imagine if he isn't today. Imagine if he's subbed out for some reason. That would make for an entertaining show. But I don't think they do that considering they're up against Turkey. They need their best. And last time that France played, they did get tested up against Italy, right? The previous matches against Spain, against UK was 13-3, 13-5 respectively. This time around, it was fairly close against Italy with a 13-10 score.
Yeah, and it was 6-all, I think, at the half as well. Like, Italy, on their attacking side, had some really good ideas. There were some adjustments from France that kept things competitive in that first half. But I think as soon as we got onto France's attacking side, they were so good at just keeping that pressure on the side of Italy. Italy were forced to take fights that realistically they didn't want to. Caden had some insane moments, and we'll surely talk about Caden a little bit later on, but he just did get ran over a little bit too much. So I think the big thing about France at this point is they have a clear, strong map in Split that they want to probably head to at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the same, I guess, could go for Turkey in that regard for their high-flying performances. But we get to see the map bans. Both of these teams, by the way, have played completely different maps. Ascent and Lotus for Turkey and Split and Bind for France. So I think France will be playing Bind for the second time this tournament, and it's going to be the first time we'll be seeing Turkey playing that as well.
Yeah, it was 13-5 win for France against Team UK. We saw Team UK bringing out the Euro and stuff. I think the comp on the side of France wasn't anything too out there. It was just Canada standard stuff you expect. And obviously, if they do have Smurfette coming into the roster on a more consistent basis, popping in the chamber in that team isn't a bad thing to just throw in there and have that adjustment. So I guess I'm a bit more curious to see what Turkey are able to do it with this kind of style. And also for France, whether Soon's going to be played, because he was just playing in on Split. When it went over to Bind, he was taken out and Nami went into the squad instead.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see. Actually, coming into today, I expected we might be seeing a brand new map, considering that France and Turkey played completely different maps. So I expected maybe those would have been counter-stratted or banned, right? So we might have seen a completely new map in the pool, but unfortunately that's not the case. We'll still be seeing Bind though, and for Turkey that's going to be the case. When it comes to the Turkish roster, I know you talked greatly about the French one, where Soon might be coming in this time around. We talked about Smurfette actually from the Turkish scene. That she showed an appearance, and it was quite the flamboyant one, right? She had a couple of high-flying rounds, a couple of clutches, a couple of really nice entry kills. Which iteration of Turkey do you like so far?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I think all of the versions that I've seen so far have been to my liking for sure. Smurfette and Stella are both going to be played today.
Nice.
So Izzy's not around today, of all people, who I think has had a bit of a quieter time, to be fair. He was absurdly good in their first game against Italy. Yeah. The last two, Izzy's been a little bit quiet. Maybe he's got to like practice, maybe there's other stuff going on, but like seeing both the Game Changers players in this roster is a good sign for Turkey. For France, they still have Soon in on the roster, so he's going to be committing. Whether he stays on something like a Sage, for example, he said that he's mainly a Sentinel player, so I'm curious on how he's going to really like position himself around the map and what he's going to be looking like agent-wise.
Yeah, and I believe we did see Vekaj come in as well for that French lineup. But without any further ado, we've got the game coming underway, and it's the casters to bring you the action. It's Moon and Hazza.
Thank you so much, Pavlos. While the trophies may be out of reach for the time being, both of these teams already have one hand on the live stage. Unbeaten as it stands, but only one can walk away with a flawless record. Moon, I could not be more excited to head into Turkey versus France. How are you feeling about this one?
Same for me, same for me. I mean, you get this vibe that we're heading towards the coronation of the tournament. You're looking at the competition so far, you're looking at the matches. Team France, Team Turkey, indubitably, so far, the two strongest teams of the competition. We didn't see them falter at any stage. We see them play very complex and complicated calls. They were able to bring themselves back from losing rounds into winning them, and so on and so on. So, in between a high level of communication, a well-studied strat book, very thought-of agent picks, maps, of course, that suited their game plan, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this map will be absolutely smashing in terms of spectacle. And my expectations are to the roof, even way beyond the roof, I think.
Yeah, look, we don't want to set the bar too high because it may end up falling short. But look, both of these teams have been explosive in nature so far and unpredictable a little bit as well, actually. Turkey, the only of the two teams who have kept some consistency with their roster. They played Schnell in both of those opening two games. We saw Smurfette come into the previous one. And what that makes the comp look like coming in here on Bind is anybody's guess, because for France, Nello is absent for the first time. It was the core of her, Lux and Brams, which was the one key factor that they kept amongst all of the games that they'd played up until this point.
Exactly, and that's the term for VK to shine again. I think this is the second time we see VK, and it's on Bind again, and it's on the Sky again. So I think the Team France here has a system. They have agents that they prefer to give specifically to certain players. I mean, that makes absolute sense, hence the presence of a sub. But what's extremely interesting to see is to see the contrasts of agent selections in here. We're seeing the two favorite meta of players at high levels when it comes to this map. So in here, soon opting to play the Killjoy. Clearly, while Glovey will be relying on his Cypher. And we can clearly see the absence of a Viper to the benefit of using a Breach. Right?
Yeah,
combining the Breach and the Omen.
Yeah, only going for the solo controller here, as you can see, and soon as well being a key part of that mandatory rebuild that we're seeing coming into the next year of VCT and Challengers 2024 is going to be on the Killjoy. And for Bind, this is a fairly off-piste pick. Not too often that you see a Killjoy get played. There are ways to play without a Sentinel on this map. There are ways that I think Cypher fits in quite nicely, fits like a glove, you could say, if you want to go down the pun route. But I mean, even with the buff upcoming, I can't see her getting picked too much more. And yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit light around the edges. Nello offered a lot of value in that department. There are big shoes to fill here for Soon, even though, you know, he had a great performance yesterday on the Sage.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, one thing that makes you think the... I don't know, personally, I'd prefer to see... Oh, okay, wait. I was seeing a jet on the animation. Now I'm seeing a raise on the side of France. I was about to address that point. I was mistaken, right? We were seeing a jet.
Yeah, no, that is totally correct. Smurfette is going to be playing the Jet, so we get a double duelist coming through. Viper, not a look which we have seen from her before. And just to double check that things are right on the opposite side as well, yeah, there is no Killjoy. It will be a Cypher. So after giving our head a quick wobble there, already curveballs being thrown despite the fact there's no Phoenix in the server. The only difference between the two teams as it stands is, that double duelist on Turkey and then Glove on the Astra.
Yeah, exactly. So we have the addition of the Astra in here with the double duelists coming from Team Turkey, and this is a clear indication that Team Turkey will be relying essentially on the attack phase. I mean, that's the only explanation you can get. That's where Team Turkey is trying to capitalize, getting, you know, that first and second entry. The dynamic in here coming from both Jet and Raze should be enough to unlock the defenses of Team France. But I don't know, you got Soon, which will give you a lot more freedom to play and move around the map. You've got the cams, you can play advanced positions, right? He can be a lot more dynamic. You can play on the retake instead of taking risks and, you know, stacking all your players in risky positions. But then again, all of that is theory as the game starts.
Yeah, we are now heading straight into this one. Two teams with some of the most passionate fans, defined cultural bases. In many ways, it feels like more than just a game, but we've got to get underway sooner rather than later, and it's Smurfette to do exactly that. In the site, Brams, the sole bastion of it, and even with the support of Soon's utility, has to give up his life. Going into a spike plant, 4 versus 4 retake scenario for France.
A very fair trade, honestly, giving away Brams to take Smurfette, but then again, it's going to be extremely tricky, especially with the lack of abilities from the side of France to, you know, surprise the defense in here and get themselves a defuse. Lots of such exchange in here, and Mush decides with a wise, of course, decision to get out. In the meantime, iPod will be grabbing a double, giving the advantage to his team, and that's VK left in a 2v1 situation, making it into a one-on-one. One bullet should be enough, and that's the bullet that he needed to connect, granting his team a first point of this map.
Yeah, beautiful there from Vekash. Closes things out with 3 kills, walks into the lineup and leaves with the pistol round. France drawing first blood so far in this game, going down to the wire. The 1v1 is what decides our opening round.
He took his time, VK. I mean, if you noticed, you've got 3 players from Team France coming up from the window, but VK just stood still. I think that the cue was the moment there was fighting. The moment Turkey committed, they were like, okay, everybody's coming from window. Probably one person from attacker spawn. That's when he peaked, and those 2 kills were extremely crucial. And in theory, France should be cruising on this round, unless Turkey shows us something different.
Yeah. I mean, both of these teams with the depth of talent that they have, so many players endemic to their region, as I said before. Really, the combinations have been endless. As I mentioned, you know, France rolling with a number of different lineups, and the setup varies here. Soon will be the one guarding his own utility this time around. Glove misses the trap wire, and will just be holding onto the space. Turkey casting a wide net, but Lux looking to pierce through the middle right now. Some early control towards A short here for the Frenchman.
And I think in here, Turkey are just relying on one player, maybe overextending outside of defensive position in order to create a gap that can be turned into an advantage. But France in here playing this very wisely, in a very smart way. They're collected, calm. There's no need for us to overpeak. We know that they're, you know, Sheriff Demons. We know that Smurfette is insane on that Marshall. Let's not give free kills, which is something that happened on multiple occasions, you know, on France's game yesterday. And, well, I think that the decision has been made with 25 seconds remaining on the clock. The Turkey is trying to breach into side B.
Nice shot from Vekash. First lined up on the Sheriff, and still more on his plate. Soon in on the Act as well, and this Turkish Inquisition isn't coming up with any goods except for that one consolation that Smurfette can take in her stride towards France's bonus round. It was nicely played. Like you say, a double-edged sword. Any form of proactivity there could go punished, but Turkey didn't really have the investment to deal with it in the first place. Only a couple Sheriffs and a Marshal, and yeah, they walk away ultimately empty-handed. In terms of what France have here already, an early Seekers online, perhaps setting up for some form of a retake. You've got that deep cam on B as well, as soon will plant his feet in the middle of the site once more.
Yeah, and again, even if we take into account the frugal buy that we witnessed from Team France, the commitment in here is still on the same weapons. So, well, they're bound to play bonus round, although you can clearly see that the expenditure has been too high, and, well, add in Lux to the bill. Lux losing his life. How tough of a slap is it for Team France?
Yeah, Lux, work cut out for him. Handed a blank check by Smurfette, who has looked brilliant since coming into this team. No doubts of her quality. It was Izzy that took up the duelist mantle before, absent this time around, but with Schnell in there as well. Good company for Turkey, and Brams finds himself in the midst of quite a few bad actors. Mudge with 2 more kills, and suddenly it is a 4 versus 2. France on the retake. Vakash flanking in, has the Seekers, but can't quite put them to good use from this kind of position, you would feel.
Yeah, and there's nothing much to rely on. I mean, Seekers on VK, what would be the impact? That's Nami already dropping. Smurfette was able to find her back. In the meantime, iPod will spot ahead of VK and dispose of him. 2-1. A result that was kind of expected the moment Lux dropped. And I mean,
yeah,
you know, at this level, you're seeing 5 Vandals coming from the attackers. We're playing Bind, as a reminder. You're seeing a lot of Spectres on the side of France, and you're questioning how will they play this round. And the moment they decided out of position is when they paid for it. But again, full buy coming up, and the operator in the hands of Lux will buy them so much space. So much space.
It's an important point you mentioned about Lux dying early as well. In the previous game, you know, a close one against Italy, all things considered, 13-11 the scoreline. We saw Lux only die first 2 times in the whole of that map, and he's done it as many in 2 rounds. 8 first kills that he'll have to catch up on if that is to be the case, but already Smurfette seemingly having his number.
That's gonna hurt. That really has to hurt. Operator on the ground, no kills signed with that weapon, and Team France has to struggle, like in one player with VK in here trying to lick his wounds, maybe. I do not believe that this technique would be efficient, as we all know, Sky is unable to heal herself, right? So,
yeah.
all he can do for the time being is...
You could hope, right? I don't think there are any maps that have a mirror. If you were to sort of look in it, it reflects back onto yourself. Like, you know, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. The self-assurance that you would need.
But the pain.
No, not going to happen. And
but
yeah,
the pain
France
has a...
have to dust themselves off in this situation. The pain for Turkey, unrelenting. They put their foot down, but soon can alleviate. And post-mortem, that trap wire will set Nami up for a second as well. It brings it back to a 3 versus 3, but that feeling is short-lived, and now Vekaj on death's door has to bring this back from a 2 versus 1. Time dwindling, but the spike should be getting planted.
Okay, and with the plant of the spike, there's only VK standing as the last backbone. Team France in this round. 17 HP, no armor, Seekers in place. I do not believe that the usage of these Seekers will bring him, that much of a benefit, and that's iPod rendering, these movements from VK, let's say, fruitless, as Turkey is able to tie the game so far 2-2, and France looking extremely shaky, if you're to ask me.
Yeah, taking their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and it comes back to this moment again, as I said, in the previous map of Split, same agent, different area, I guess you could say. Lux was involved in 10 opening duels. He won 80% of those, and as I said before, only 2 deaths for the entirety of that map. This time around, not having anywhere near as much luck as he was, but isn't this a familiar sight? Sheriff on short, 4 kills against Team UK from a similar position. Turkey aren't going to be offering any kind of the same liberties here, however. Belong is where they make their early move.
Yep, and the early birds gets the worm, and that's Glovey, who almost gets it, and iPod will capitalize and convert that into a kill. Smurfette doubling down on Brams, that's a plant, and no answer whatsoever from VK, trying to hit those pixels, but eluding him by a couple of millimeters. Not enough, clearly not enough, and that's iPod trying to clean house. And VK will lose his life. That's a 2v5. And in honesty, I hate anticipating, but the round looked over the moment Team Turkey penetrated site B. And that's Team France now, I think, back to the drawing board, trying to, look again at what made them lose 2 rounds that could have been won.
Yeah, France not quite able to put their best foot forward in that situation. Finally, they've counted the pennies, the pounds have found themselves, and they can save up for that nice pair of shoes in the shop window. It is a full flush set of rifles, and those information ultimates remain to be online. Nami 1 away from an orbital strike, so we're seeing early prioritization towards B-Long, perhaps for her to get this ultimate orb uncontested as the smoke flares. She's a little deeper, but Vekaj shows his head, and Smurfette adds that skull to her collection. Absolutely unstoppable so far in these opening fights.
I mean, only clicking head. That's what we have been seeing from Smurfette so far. And in all honesty, Turkey are doing a great job at just, waiting for these opportunities, right? Now, in a regular situation, you'd probably see the attacker maybe a little bit deeper towards side B. No, they're just holding ground around spawn, next to the fountain. They know someone will peek. They play the same way around the showers. They keep on playing the same way around side B. Turkey are just, there's no point. There's no point for me to overcommit. They will come for me. And, well, this time around, Schnell tried to go to their opponent, and Nami will seal away that headshot. Smurfette and Glovey capitalizing on those 2 kills, make it 3. And it's only Soon left alive, losing his teammate. Maybe a little bit too soon, has it?
Yeah, the biggest kill in that exchange is Lux falling in hookah. Not to put all the pressure on one guy again, but that would have been the way back in, Soon linking up, and then perhaps a more advantageous situation presenting itself as that aforementioned man hits the trap. Turkey have the info. Already a couple players going hunting, namely one of them Epot, and perhaps if there's enough time left on the spike, might come within arm's length. All of Soon's setup still there to greet, and can perhaps take a quick look into the cam to see if anything else is going, but it certainly won't be. Turkey have won the previous 4 buy rounds, all starting with France's bonus. I'd probably expect a timeout sometime soon.
I mean, again, I think the picture is pretty much clear so far. Turkey has been playing a very dynamic game. They have always been overly aggressive, right? You just like stretch your pinky a tiny little bit and your arm is gone in the blink of an eye. That's how they have been playing. They have this ability to snowball on you without leaving any space for you to breathe. They'll always peek you with multiple numbers. They'll always have the edge over you. They'll, and if you're gonna take those peaks one by one in a dry way, no utility, no pre-flash, nothing of the sort, all what you're gonna do is either rely on a miracle click, and I'm saying miracle click because it's very difficult to achieve it, right? You gotta calculate and expect your opponent to be there, and you cannot expect reaction time to be on point at every scenario, while 2 to 3 Turkish players are awaiting you to peak. Their job is to expect you to peak and then just get that kill. Now, again, 4 rounds won by Turkey, 4 rounds they did the same thing. 2 kills on VK, 2 kills on Lux, which opened up the map. I mean, the amount of pressure you'd play under if you lose 1 player, you lack 1 player who will give you information, lack 1 player who will give you additional firepower to defend the site, additional utility as well. And you're stuck and you're like, okay, where are they going? Are they committing on A? Are they committing on B? Right? So that confusing is putting even more strain on Team France, who's been struggling to, first and foremost, find a stable footing in the map, and secondly, hitting their shots.
Yeah. A quarter of regulation played so far. Turkey with twice the rounds to France and accruing quite the bankroll in the way that they've done it. France from this position, I mean, a round here would be nice. Lux entrusted with the only rifle amongst the set of sheriffs. Things may get worse before they start to get better here for the French team. Early space taken in bathrooms, some control towards A, and just to draw back on that point you were saying earlier, often we're seeing Smurfettes supported in these duels. This time around, Turkey aren't really trying to take too much early space. They've slowed things down, understanding the French timeout and what the consequences of it could be.
Yeah, and Turkey know that Team France is playing eco. That's what you would call respect eco, right? You definitely do not want to see your team fall apart at the hands of sheriffs. So that's Smurfette maybe half committing to this with a dash. But we've got the toxic screen in here, maybe slowing down Team Turkey. And, well, one can only wonder how Team Turkey will play, how the scenario of this round will unfold, and Orbital Strike in the best possible timing, and Schnell stealing a kill away on Soon.
Yeah, Orbital Strike comes through soon, not quite able to capitalize. Something that France did a good job of there was holding on to Shower's control, but at this point it becomes null and void. Cosmic Divide coming through, first point of contact would be Vikaj, and this rotate has come in pretty quickly. Glove is still hanging around on the other side of the map, so it's an effective 4 versus 4 in play. More ults for initiation. That Seeker's still in the pocket of the Sky player, but perhaps not invested just yet. Lux finally arriving on the scene and stringing together a couple of frags, but it's going to need to find a couple more if this is to have any chance. And just as soon as you thought there was a possibility, Glove reappears and will be the hero for Turkey to find them that 5th.
That was beautifully executed from Turkey, and for a moment I had a sliver of hope that France could turn this around. I looked at the scoreboard again, and it was just Lux left alive, stuck in a sandwich, in a crossfire between window and the tube. But overall, let's take a look at things. For how many rounds did VK has his ult? I think he had the Seeker since round 3.
Yes.
They haven't been committed since.
No. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that France haven't really been in tangible retake positions. You're seeing some early information gained here towards Fountain. France still giving this respect, but it is Lux that waits on the other side, operator in hand, and not the weapon that you would choose at this kind of distance, which is continually closing. The showstopper will do, however. Pulled out the pocket, Vikaj in support, a quick 1-for-1, and France have an early advantage.
Really, really bad timing from Lux in here. I think he tried to drop his operator to go for the Vandal, but nonetheless, Nami will just dispose of iPod right here, leaving Turkey with 1.25 player, as Mosh is only left with 27 hit points, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, the extra 50 of the armor doesn't make the maths any easier. What can 1/27th of, or I should say, 27% of a Muj do?
I tried. Throw me in the mouth of the lion or the jaws of the lion, I don't care. I tried. The idea went across, I think. And I will gladly take any criticism on this. And excellent.
It is clean.
It's
from
a one player.
Yeah, Muj, a little bit shaky on that amount of HP. So yeah, the reflex is tested, and hand in hand with their teammate Schnell, they end up falling together. Brings me back, by the way, I don't know if you saw yesterday, we didn't have the POV on stream, but Soon hit the craziest like 2-bullet spray transfer in split B main, I think it was. If you guys haven't seen it, go on Soon's Twitter after this game. It is one of the craziest things I think I have seen.
Yeah, there's that, and there's a double of Brams as well, but on site A, when he was hiding next to screen, right?
Yeah.
And he had the rays falling, or was... I'm not sure if it was a rays... Anyway, someone was falling from the sky,
Ridiculous.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
This French team already contributing many great moments, and Lux says, long may that continue. Glove out of the server, and that is the smokes gone for Turkey. Spike still waiting outside of A, Showers control taken, but no one bearing the objective on their back.
Yep, and albeit Team France in here taking an early kill, they decided that, okay, I'll play this passively, I'll give the opportunity for them to take the side, and Brams just wasn't ready to welcome iPod into Lamps, and Chanel capitalizing on another kill yet again for her team. Finally, we're seeing Seekers going the way of Team Turkey, but quickly dispatched by the hands of Chanel and Motion. That's the plant of the spike, Hazza.
And not much information coming in either. Epot taking the fight to the front lines, and the cacophony of guns on the Turkish side will rain orchestra onto the heavens and send Vekash to hell. Finished off, and that will now be a 6th round for them on the attacking side. And most importantly, it just shuts down France yet again. I think they have enough credits to rebuy here, or at least give it a decent go. But as this advantage continues to go for them, and you remember the fact that the majority of these rounds taken by France came from the pistol, it is not a sight for sore eyes, that's for sure.
Definitely. One could argue, okay, attacking side on bind, France might turn this game around, but the way they're playing right now does not inspire me with a lot of confidence. Team Turkey just have, you know, control over everything. Showstopper in here, they only know that there's a Soon hiding in Showers, but that's about it, and Schnell would just end the job. And here with a headshot on Soon. Brams, excellent pick. Isn't that crispy?
Yeah, that is brilliant from Brams, a 3v3, but quickly the numbers stripped back once more. Nami trying to involve herself, but already the controllers have fallen, as has the site. It crumbles around the ground that they stand on once more. And again, Turkey just looking so fast-paced. As soon as they pull the trigger, they're setting the tempo of all of these rounds. Some of that proactivity we had been seeing from France with Lux walking up seems to have been sort of pulled away from them. You know, Lux is nowhere near as confident as he was after losing out some of these first couple engagements. And I don't know if my eyes deceive me, but a second timeout from France inside the first half is far from ideal.
Purely, and that just outlines how big of a crisis Team France is going through. I think that multiple points need to be addressed in here, and well, one would expect from Brams that he would try to straighten, you know, the train of thought of his teammates and make sure and make it clear that, you know, 2 rounds remaining for this half. Let's just run away with 2 points home. Make sure we equalize the score if we can make it. I mean, if you take a look at the credit investment in here, we're already seeing 1 Phantom, 2 Vandals. So one can only believe that Team France is just gonna go berserk on this round with whatever they can afford.
Yeah.
But it's a time for a confession. I mean, let's drop back. I'm not talking about round 10.
Confession?
Let's roll back to round 9, and, you know, the moment we've seen Lux lose her life to the peak from the Cypher, actually has a heart attack. I'm actually extremely scared of Cypher whenever he drops it.
Okay.
It's food for nightmare.
I feel like
not scared. It makes me uncomfortable.
I feel like I'm in the heart of a church right now, and you're confessing your sins to me, or something here, Moon. I'm a little bit disturbed, but also intrigued.
Yeah. And for some reason, it becomes slightly more difficult to actually hit shots to the head of Cypher once he removes the hat, right? For some reason.
Yeah. Cypher with no brim.
The elusive Cypher.
I mean, of course. Yeah, it changes the hitbox 100%. Rito, please fix. Definitely not spreading false information via the internet waves.
That's a propaganda and I have no hand in it.
Of course. But look, Viper's Pit invested. Lots of Cypher utility. Gripping the neck of the A choke. And Turkey got to be careful how they try and approach this round, because I think a 4th here for France is the saving grace of your half. It pulls you out of trouble. And this kind of mixed investment has set them up for a bye on the final round as well, but you want to make the most of what it is that you've got here, and it seems to be a decent chance. Rotation coming through from Lux, the star man. A little crazy man, the 19-year-old Lupeti Fufu, as he is known, and he's got to go wild because Turkey have already made their presence felt, and that 3 players turns to 4 and then quickly back to 1 less. Soon already dropping Epot, finding the opener, but Lux has stepped onto the scene and made their presence felt. Smurfette again, though, seems to be the antidote. It's a lethal dosage. Turkey running away with things, and France ill-prepared yet again.
I mean, look, there's no other word to describe the situation. Turkey are just making France so powerless on this half. I mean, we're not seeing any answer from them. Even I hardly find any word to describe the situation. Turkey have been playing silky smooth for the whole half. You can see them slowly taking the direction of a site, slowly trying to figure out the position of a player. Once they get a confirmation, once they peek, again, they utilize utility peek with 1-2 players. They're gaining those first duels. And, well, it's actually so bad for Team France that we just witnessed the first Viper Pit coming from Brahms.
Oh,
the first
this
one.
gravity well could be huge, but soon shuts it down. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, imperative importance on this round for France, because I think the difference between an 8-4 and a 9-3 attack side bind when you're running double duelists can be quite the shed load, a watershed moment, if you will. They have a lot of control here coming into the retake, and in some ways, Turkey will be feeling backed into a corner. The majority of their players sit in elbow, but one of them will be Smurfette, and already hand in hand with Mouge, a duel taken, but Jules going back and forth with Lux on yet another one. A 3 versus 2, a French advantage. Can they convert? They certainly can. Lux with 3 of his own brings France up to a 4th, ending the half on a positive note.
Positive note, yes, definitely they needed that point. Starting fresh on the second half on the taste of victory will definitely make you hungry for more. At least that's what anybody supporting Team France would like to believe. I'm not saying that it's not true. Would like to believe is what I assume to be what anybody would like to believe. Now, pointed that, all right, we're hitting the second half. Whatever happened, happened. 8-4 is not the most catastrophic scoreline that we've ever seen on a Valorant game, and specifically on a bind. And even more specifically on the team change, right? Now, point is that you're playing against a Team France, you're playing against Team Turkey, who invested into duelists. Let's elaborate a little bit more on this. So you've got Smurfette on the Jet, and you've got Schnell on the Race. If these 2 agents do not give you that much of an edge defensively, they are definitely lethal when it comes to retakes. Now, I've seen the ability of Smurfette and Schnell when it comes to penetrating sites, when it comes to winning those duels, when it comes to picking up those kills, whether we're talking doubles, triples, and so on. So, as much as France were worried about their defensive position as defenders, one can only help but wonder how will they be handling their after plans as well. So,
Yeah.
So, to finalize, France are known for playing a very organized attack. They might be lacking the firepower that Turkey had coming into sites, definitely. But they do have a skill book. They do have a strat book, sorry, I said skill book. That's my old timer RPG spirit, maybe being summoned in here. But they do have strats to apply. And we've seen how clean and smooth when it comes to execution for Team France. But again, Team Turkey have been winning their duels right and left. We've noticed that most of the players of Team France have been cold. VK have been missing his shots. We've seen a better display from Nami. Soon is definitely not the Soon that we watched yesterday, and Brahms is literally offline so far.
Yeah, it's not been the best start to this game for France, but that 4th round is the saving grace, like I said, of the first half. They've got a platform now from which to work. The pistol, ever important. We do sit in a technical pause for the time being, for those acutely aware, and yeah, it gives us a moment just to sort of reflect and really break down what it is that we've seen so far. Like you said, Turkey, I think that they're well organized, and the same can be said for France, to be completely honest with you. You have Coach Guys at the helm of Team Turkey playing, or I should say playing on Footballist. He stepped in for the final of the EMEA qualifier for home ground, but does typically spend time in the coach slot. And yeah, I think, you know, they're playing loose, they're playing free. To sum up the sort of monologue you had there, Smurfette and Schnell go kill, you know? Give these guys empowering situations where they can frag out on the attack side, and they will reap the rewards for you. But even to that end, yeah, I think this defense can be beneficial for them. You have a lot more utility. Yeah, you perhaps forego some of what you would get from a different agent into your retake, right? An initiator or another controller, perhaps. But we'll just have to see. I think one thing to say about France is this is the only game they've played so far without Nello. That core that you mentioned, Brams and Lux, your IGL and your Star Duelist, is without the de facto Sentinel player that they had been enjoying the company of before. And a player who I think not just looked good being the anchor of the site, but in supporting twos as well and holding on to spaces like Showers, where maybe Soon didn't have as much success as he did in other matches.
Yeah, definitely a couple of questionable decisions here taken by Soon. Of course, they became questionable the moment he created disadvantage for his team, right? I suppose that if he was able to run away with those skills, we would have been saying the complete reverse of what I'm saying right now. Now, point is that he picked twice, took a risk, lost the duel twice, and that, you know, pushed Team France one step behind. That kind of ate away at the confidence of Team France. We didn't see them take any sort of cheeky position. They didn't try to create something maybe to disrupt the playstyle of Team Turkey. Team Turkey just enjoyed an absolute control of the map. They were comfortable. They were calm. They were like, okay, we're gonna take shower. Like you can clearly see that there's no second thought. There's no second guessing from Team Turkey. They have a plan. They commit. They progress toward that decision, and you can clearly see that no players, you know, double guessing a position to check or double guessing if I should rotate or stay on shower. They're moving in tandem all around, and if that shows something, it shows that the players of Team Turkey are extremely synchronized in here. Everybody knows exactly what they have to do, and Team France must display at least that level of coordination on the second half if they want a chance to run away with a 4th point for their Spike Nations appearance.
Yeah. Moon, we can sit here all day and talk about how exactly this game is going to go, but with the previous halves in the back of our minds now, and looking forward towards the rest of the day that we've got coming up, of course, 2 more matchups. Team UK versus Italy next, and then an elimination game between Germany and Spain, although the conclusion of one may already have been settled before that second game comes to a close. Where's your head at with our competitors so far? Your favourites for the live stage, and or perhaps a rematch that we could see potentially from these two teams later on? You've got 20 seconds for it because I see that timer heading down.
And well, it might be that the technical pause is over, but okay, no. Now that I've seen it away, I'm led to believe that the game will get started again. So second half, a chance for France to bring themselves back alive on the server. Turkey in here resisting to maintain their dominance over Team France. I think this game has more meaning than just that point, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, we laid the stakes out before. Both of these teams, some of the most loyal fans that you will see. This kind of pride for your nation, something which cannot be simply purchased or signed on contractually, does always offer you that little bit more. And France need to do justice by those supporters here on the pistol. Starting things off fairly slowly, already a bit of info towards short, but Turkey can do the exact same and then some. Flash pops from Mouge, outside of Showers, nothing collected, and a rotation maybe wavered.
Well, Sun in here has an extremely important mission. So if he's able to run away with a kill, if he ever takes the peak in here, it would make things so easy for his team. The boom bot coming his way, and that's Lux run away with the head of iPod. Attempt from Globy to defend, and successful on the first occasion. Not so much on the second one, and that's Brams ending things for Team France. A quick plant and a 5th point for them.
Yeah, a wave of blood red in the kill feed to close that one out, and a really important pistol round for France. We can't overlook the fact that their first half success did center around a similar victory, but this one feels like much more of a necessity when you consider the overarching scoreline and, you know, the themes of some of these rounds that we've seen and how good Turkey have been with rifles in their hands.
Clearly, and well, you should never underestimate Team Turkey in these buys as well. I've seen them one too many times just you know, surprising us, just turning the table on their opponents. And look at Smurfette, but this time around, quite the dust, as VK was expecting a move of this caliber. I don't know. I don't think this is a suitable game for defenders to just peek out wide like this.
Yeah, I mean, look, Smurfette, high on confidence, Marshall in hand. You would favour her to win 9 out of 10 of those duels. Against these kinds of rifles, perhaps not. And she will fall, but you know that they have enough credit to fall back on. The game plan is established here from Turkey. This is one of those rounds when you can afford to take a few more risks, Moon.
Yep. I mean, nothing much to lose here. Odds of winning it are probably lesser than one would expect on a full, but that's for certain. In the meantime, Glovin here, probably sweating as he's hearing the steps getting closer to him, but no, he doesn't get checked on that angle. And Glovin, of course, will take that gift, as all of Team France is alert about the presence of a player potentially in the middle of that smoke.
Yeah, Lux repossesses the Phantom for himself, drops down for the bench and needs to get involved. Roll those sleeves up and get to work. Couple kills already found, and the information on Ipot's position will do leaps and bounds for them here. Even a third being picked up as Mouge is spotted on short, and France walk away with 3 rifles, even a Sheriff picked up, so that this bonus can look a little more healthy. They lost out on it last time around, and it felt like the beginning of the end of that first half, but a new lease of life about them here, and Lux back to winning ways on the attack side, which we know suits him best.
Lease of life. If that wasn't a beautiful expression, lease of life. It's been years since I last heard it. But anyway, it really suits the scenario, but it has yet to be confirmed. Full buy coming from Team Turkey in here. We do have a Guardian. So, yep, it's in the hands of iPod. Of course, a weapon that shall not be underestimated, with 3 Vandals coming up and a Phantom. And, well, Team Turkey are starting to get a little bit more crafty. You can clearly see that the defense of side B literally went out of bounds. They're expecting someone to be pushing them. They're on the ready. So if there's any attempt from Team France to get close in that position with no pre-ability throws, they probably have to pay the bill in here. And, well, doesn't seem to be the case, though. Team France are just decided so far to keep on playing side A.
Yeah, it's a real test of character, playing from behind, not just in scoreline, but player count as well, and France losing out on this initial pick through Ipot's Guardian won't help them out too much, and it's another under his belt before finally put to rest. Vekaj involved, and the A site under siege. Turkey looking to rotate in. They already have a couple of players here, and Glove can re-establish that Lamp's control. Brams perhaps vying up the fight, but peeks into 2 players, and all of a sudden, the advantages that Turkey hold coming into this retake are growing ever in number. Vekaj would love one more kill here to bring online his Seekers, but even then, Nami has already hit the deck. So much to be done, and he's got to start somewhere. 2 for Vekaj, putting him up to a 3rd. Seekers on the board, vying for the opportunity to take this one away, but it slips through the fingers. Schnell has stuck the spike, and despite the ace, there will not come the round for France.
VK or Vekaj here with the ace, but at which price? I really love the way he thought this clutch, the way he played his clutch. Okay, maybe the first shot gonna be a little bit more accurate, but you cannot judge him in here, right? Missing Smurfette at the beginning, but there's so much he can do on his own, and that's exactly what you expect to see from Team France. This is a Team France that we recognize through the performance of Vekaj. I'll start calling him the way you call him, just to make sure that it's correct. But again, that's Team Turkey running away with a point that costed them so much.
Yeah, I mean, while the ramifications of the round itself are that Turkey continue to maintain the gap that they held between France of 3 rounds, it is a reinvestment, a repurchase for every single gun on that roster. How much that helps out France is yet to be seen. Another swing round I think you would consider from this point. Nami's going to have to buy up as we sit in the technical pause. While Vekaj may have a little bit more credit to splash around, still, it's on borrowed time right now from which France are playing. And rounds like that, where, I mean, if you're win factor is going to be an ace clutch, it's not a stable one to say the least.
Yeah. An important element to highlight as well, looking at the scoreline, 9-6. I do believe that if Turkey were to drop this round, they seriously need to start sweating. Because Team France looked way more powerful. I mean, if we were to compare what we've seen on the first half and what we're seeing right now from Team France, although the sample is not sizable enough to make a judgment, we're seeing Vekaj, we're seeing Locks coming alive in here. We're seeing them being more proactive, a lot more lethal than they were in the first half. They're playing way more comfortably than they were in the first half. I mean, including how much the attack side enables you to play better on this map. It's just that these two players hold a lot more qualities than what they showcased on the first half. Brams was absent on the first half, definitely. He showed some snippets on the pistol rounds as well. So we're just waiting for Team France to come alive. In the meantime, Team Turkey already made their claims clear. They want to run away with this map. They want to win this map. They want to cement themselves as the absolute heroes of this stage of the Spice Nations. But again, they need to be extremely careful. The gap is just 3 points, only 3 rounds. And in Valorant, we do know that 3 rounds are just gone in the blink of an eye. And the moment you realize that they're gone, it might be a little bit too late. So let's wait and see while Nami rejoins the server, as we'll discover how the rest of this game will unfold.
The Turkish team always going to be seen as one of the favorites coming into this competition. Not just the players that they have in the server, but you have to consider those absent as well that take up places on VCT rosters, BBL, Foot, and of course, players such as Alpha, for example, that have reached the heights of what the Valorant competitive circuit has to offer in its current state. And yeah, you know, as a region, it's such a big one as well, right? A population of 84 million, a shared language. There are so many points you can draw on. The main thing that I'm taking away from the majority of the interviews that we've seen, whether it was Smurfette yesterday or Schnell earlier in the competition, is that they all get on very well with one another, which makes piecing this puzzle of a team together a whole lot easier. And especially when you have a player like Glove at the helm, pulling the strings, and with the support of guys as well, definitely making things a lot easier for them.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about the atmosphere around the teams, at least what we were concluding from the facial expressions of players in general, as well as the players that we had on interviews, it seems that the atmosphere is extremely positive, right? Even, you know, we had moments where even the team that kept on losing, we've seen Team Germany, we've seen Team Spain, sadly, their efforts were not met with winning games. We could clearly see smiles at some points. We could see them communicating clearly, as if, you know, the defeat hurts, but it's not that it mattered that much. Tournament's still ongoing. There are still games to be played.
Yeah.
Let's make the most out of it. And that's something that one needs to, you know, take a pause and appreciate.
Yeah, in many ways, this does feel like a bit more of a seeding game. Turkey, their upcoming match tomorrow will be played against Team UK. For France, they're against Team Germany. Both, you know, respectable competitors in their own right. And for Germany, that match is a lot more important than it will be for France, I think, at this point in time. Of course, for those who are unaware, we have a live stage upcoming, which will be played from Gamergy in Madrid, Spain, 15th to 16th of December. And the top 4 teams from the group stages will be progressing. France and Turkey already with 3 wins out of their 5 matches, feeling pretty comfortable in that position so far. And Turkey in the driver's seat so far in this game. They're up 9-6, and a win here would be huge as we head in to the continuation of this second half.
Definitely. And as we're starting the current round 15, round 16, my math was a little bit off. We have to remember that Turkey won, but with a taste of defeat, as it lost 5 players with their full buy. And oh, iPod!
That's so cheeky.
He did it! He did it!
The cage from iPod, and bags 2 kills with it. Schnell in on the act as well, and those are the numbers for Turkey. The double peak converts. Soon, back to a 2 versus 2, and with a weapon advantage, will continue to keep the ball rolling. Glove in a clutch scenario. And position not accounted for. Might have just slipped the net. Finds the first fight on Nami, but needs the follow-up onto Soon. It's been a good round so far, but it's great from Glove. Double digits for Turkey. That pushes the boat out. How much more have France got left in the tank?
Clutch.
And an excellent round again from Turkey. And look, take a bow for iPod. The decision that he took was just a matter of a split second. He was like, okay, my cage, I'm going in, I'm stopping that plant. Capitalizes on 2 kills that completely obliterated the plan that Team France had. And of course, Glovian here not disappointing at all. The movement, the way he came out, the patience he displayed as well was just more than enough to allow Team Turkey to run away with this point. 10-6, and, well, 1 round away from sweating for the Turkish team in here, while Team France will need to collect themselves again and build again.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of that round was played behind the curtain. Smokes and mirrors, cyber cages and the like, but fine margins aren't something that you can really be banking on if you're Turkey, because, or if you're France, I should say, because their opportunities lay so thin, but Lux has offered them a golden one here, at the very least a spike plant. Nami gets it down, but Glove is holding on to Lamps yet again. Not too happy to part with this position, and from a 3 versus 3, things could still go the wrong way up for France. Into their post, a 1-for-1, and that should be good enough. Vekaj enabled, and now Schnell on the opposite side gets flashed through the Cosmic Divide.
They didn't see each other.
Not aware of one another, but I think the mini-map must have flashed up because Bram's repositioned nicely with Vekaj to close, and that is a 7th for Team France.
Again, another chaotic round. It's kind of interesting to see that the last 2 rounds we witnessed, I wouldn't say didn't make sense, but they were extremely chaotic. Managing such rounds is just exhausting. Mentally especially, right? So you start the round with a double, thanks to the showstopper, and while you have the advantage, you throw away a kill to your opponent. That's exactly what Team France did, with the overcommitment on the back of site. And then you've got the plant, and you're getting out of position, and then Team Turkey gets a little bit greedy, and speaking of greed, that's a good flash, and Brams?
Brams! The memory of the map in his mind, a little less obtuse than the corner proved to be, gets caught on it, and that is an early pick for Turkey. They have 1 rifle already in the hands of Muj. What else are they able to find from this position? Nice bit of proactivity, but now they set up deep. They sit deep. The utility dictates that they can, and Muj has another. It looks effortless for them so far, and with the Seekers coming out, France on the hot seat, and not for the first time.
I mean, do you have the feeling that Team Turkey is playing a thrifty round?
Oh, well, I mean, when you invest those kind of guns and you win it, that is typically what it would be called. We'll just have to see if they can pull it over the line. We've just spotted another one, and Soon has overseen another kill going to the Turkish team on defense, and Smurf is going to make matters worse. I mean, forget the thrifty round. We could be on for a flawless one here, Moon.
Yep, adding insult to injury, isn't it? That's how it's said.
Oh
right, and that's
God.
Marsh claiming the last headshot. Flawless. And I'm not talking flawless as in flawless in Valorant, but flawless in flawless. Started with a mistake.
Indeed. I mean, look, you know what they say, you can't polish a gem without a little bit of friction, but France have left it damn near close to be salvaging this one to anything valuable. That is a brilliant individual round by Muj, and I think France were relying a bit too much on it there. They spread themselves thin to split up, look for clues, the mystery gang round, but the villain unmasked sits on the other side of the server. Couple stingers is all they can muster to deny, at the very least, an overtime for the Turks in this position. Soon is up close, and Smurfette may not have accounted for it, picking up the orb. How much work can this little gun do? It's already found 1, but it won't get 2.
Oh, iPod. Isn't reading here. It was a flux, and Team France are in a bind right now as Nami will dispose of iPod thanks to nuclear blast. Oh, disgusting from Glove. And only Nami left to her own devices, and Schnell will make a quick work of her. 12th round to Team Turkey, and things seem to be slowly becoming over for France.
Yeah, France trying to create pressure map wide again. Soon good for one, but that is where his story ends. And it feels as if we might be coming into the last closing sentences of this chapter between the two strongest teams in the competition so far. France, without Nello, again, as I said, that consistent point in the team, but I mean, quality that she brings aside, these are incredibly capable players, and today it doesn't quite feel as if they've hit the same kind of heights. This one isn't over just yet, but the final challenge is a fully stocked Turkish team, and you are looking at a real pick and mix of weapons to try and give it their best go.
And so far, I think that the conclusion has been drawn by Team France. At least as it stands, Bind is a map to be avoided. Luxnir is trying to get a little bit creative, but iPod, eagle-eyed. The situation will just claim that has his collection for this round. Team France will try to commit towards the same spot, and that spot is just everywhere. Like, wherever there's trouble, there's iPod.
Oh no. France, again, out of luck. It hasn't been a great day in the office for him, and it seems as if soon will be the one to close up shop. Business as usual for Turkey. They've walked forward undefeated, and for France, a stain on their otherwise flawless record. Not the game that they would have been looking for today.
And clearly, a lot of creativity coming from France on the second half, but didn't just bring along the points that they needed, and they suffered the consequence of a very, very poorly managed first half. Defensively, they were almost non-existent, and that's portrayed on the scoreline, 8-4 on the first half. I think that, the game spoke for itself.
Yeah, and again, France gave themselves every chance to get back into that game. You had flashy moments like the Vekash. I don't even know, was that a 1v5? The guy aced it but didn't end up winning. And it was just small moments like that when you're already trailing so much on the half that you're trying to, it looks like France was spluttering back to life, but it wasn't quite hitting and the engine didn't start revving up soon enough for them. Turkey, a different class once more, and they will be happy to know that a 4-0 scoreline sets them far and above the rest of the competition. We're going to be throwing it back to the analysts on the desk. Pavlos and Ryan, give us your thoughts on what we've just seen.
I think you summarized it perfectly, Hazard. That game had it all. It had domination, it had a spur comeback, it had some thrifty and unexpected rounds. It had everything I needed.
Yeah, I think it was kind of everything that you'd expect from the two teams that were undefeated so far. Maybe you wanted to see a little bit more out of France. Like, the scoreline was fairly one-sided towards Turkey when you bear in mind that France won both the pistols and almost won a bonus as well in that second half. So really, as soon as we got to those full buys, it was all Turkey. They were really forcing France to take some early fights that they were constantly losing. iPod was just doing so much damage, and yet again, it was a solid performance by the entirety of the Turkish squad.
Yeah, it felt like Turkey was on the same page at all times. Yeah, okay, there were a few moments here and there that you could see them collapse, but I mean, that's normal for a team that hasn't had enough pracs. Okay, they've gotten a few matches together. There was some pretty solid plans and pretty good coordination that managed to get it all under lock and key by the end of it. While on the French side, some pieces that more often than not had been working up until this point, we started to see that not quite come to fruition this time around. And I think one of those examples, maybe, I think we all felt Nilo's absence from this particular match, right? For me personally, Nilo being a part of every single match France had so far, a solid anchor, a solid player that for this time around, I don't know, do you share the idea that perhaps her absence might have caused some troubles for the French side?
Not necessarily, just because it's like a whole different kettle of fish, this Turkish squad. Like, I don't think it makes that much of a difference when you still have players like Lux getting those entries and performing well, yet still losing out to like Glow's 1v2 clutch or like a Thrifty that we saw Turkey get on round 18, I think it was. So it was just a lot of like the pivotal moments that were constantly going the way of Turkey, and France, even though they showed a bit of bite, weren't capitalizing or really clinching any of those rounds that they should be clinching, maybe.
Yeah, well, I wish we could have had an interview, because then we could have find out what happened with all those Thrifties. But I guess we get to see, on the other hand, who the MVP of that match is. And yeah, a few names pop into my mind, but only one it can be. It's Ipot with 21 kills, 5 assists, and 13 deaths by the end.
I think the play where he was just every bit of Lamp's control was his. Like, he was fighting for a tooth and nail on attack and defense, but when he pushed out backside through his own cage and was still able to get a kill, sort of highlights the impact of him as a player, but also the importance of a tournament like this when you've got Izzy and two amazing game-changer players of Schneller and Smurfette on the roster. It's iPod, who has not been at the tier 1 level ever, I don't think. He's been grinding away in the VCLs. He's a consistent player for this Turkish squad, and I hope the people are starting to remember his name.
Absolutely, and I think in this squad, I think we've seen the most variations in regards to roles as well. Ipot, yeah, okay, the first match he played again, he played onto that Killjoy, but then he flexed onto the Omen for the next couple of games, and now he's back onto that Sentinel role, and clearly in a position where he's feeling comfortable, right, on that anchor, and doing what is required on that Cypher. So really interesting stuff to see how Turkey can just be flexible, play their own game, and have fun while they're doing it. And they get there, and they're the first team to actually be flawless in this stage so far, getting a 4th win. And they were already locked in their spot for Spain and playoffs and that live stage, but this just makes it even more impressive.
I think they've got Germany as their last game as well, so quite likely I think that they're going to be going through the group stages 5-0.
Well, that's enough for us right now for this match, but do stay tuned because it's UK versus Italy up next, and you don't want to miss it.
I can't just call you.
Hey, you're currently tuned into Spike Nations. My name is Pavlos, and of course joined by Ryan on this analyst desk for today's games. We have a second match underway, and we've already seen the first one, Turkey versus France, the two teams on top, battling up against each other, but it was Turkey to come up with the lead. But now it's a different match. It's the match for the middle men and women, right? The people at the middle of the standings. And yeah, this might be a match to determine who'll be going into those playoffs in a better seed.
Yeah, I think for this game, it's just really a game to win if you don't want it to let it slip. Because really, there's a chance for Spain to start going on a bit of a run to get enough wins on the board to make top four. Either of these two teams just want to cinch it, right? They've sort of won the games that they should be beating, the likes of Germany, for example, Spain in some cases as well. For the UK, like, they've been able to have spotty results. It was a good win yesterday against a much improved Spain team, but their loss on bind against France sort of leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. They still have Turkey to play, which is going to be a little bit scary for them. But for Italy, they've constantly been overperforming expectations. Their team play is really solid. Caden had some phenomenal moments yesterday playing up against France. It was just that they didn't really have the fuel to keep themselves going with that constant onslaught against France. So really, I do feel like Italy are the favorites in this one, with how like cohesive they've been and really how faultless they've been. They don't really have the star power that Team UK have, but there's a lot more cohesion with this roster, and they're not really making the same overall mistakes that Team UK have been making in their 3 games so far.
I've got to agree with you on that one. Even though both teams have got players that have played either in the past or very recently in the same rosters and under the same, under the same group, I feel like Team Italy are playing much more cohesively, and I think the players from Desire, especially when you look at Caden and Bippo, put those two together and then you know exactly what to do. Sorry, Caden and Tag, that is. And yeah, on the other hand, you've got players like Bippo that can frag as well as he's shown he can. It's really difficult to see UK coming off with an easy matchup here. So let's have a look at exactly what maps these two teams will be playing on, because I'm interested to see if we'll be seeing anything different. Up until this point, it's been very standard from both of them. A bit of split for Italy, a bit of Haven for Team UK on that previous match, and it seems we'll be repeating that for another time.
Yeah, Haven was a really good map for Team UK yesterday. I think the player to watch is Scala. Like, her duelist, her Jet was pretty much faultless. But also, I think there was a lot of really good support coming in from Soulcast, who was playing the Sky instead of a Sova. It's a little bit odd. But mostly Lewis's Breach. Like, he was the MVP yesterday. He saved a lot of rounds that Team UK probably should have lost. So I do feel that I want to see less of him saving the day and more of a dominant display from Team UK. The good news for them is that they have been looking better and better after each game, but that's nothing in comparison to how consistent Team Italy has been.
Do you reckon in these matchups, Spain and, UK and Italy will try and put their best in? They'll try and get their, the best possible roster for this one?
I mean, Team UK have actually made... I was thinking then that they're one of the few teams that haven't actually made any changes. Scarlett's not in for this one. It's actually going to be Puffy playing in this spot. So I do wonder if Puffy's going to be on that duelist or whether that's going to be, say, Soulcast. Just stick him on a raise like the good old days and see how well he performs there. For Team Italy, really doesn't matter who you put in. Like, the actual team play, the IGLing that's been coming in from Educause, and the overall strats that have been taken from various teams, including Desire, I think has really set Italy up nicely. The problem is that they don't really have any experience on this map, so it's a little bit more of less of a dry run to go through, whereas Team UK played it yesterday.
That is true. But again, Haven, one of those simple maps, the old dry and tested ones, of course. Hopefully UK won't rely on your boy Lewis this time around, but I guess we'll wait and see. It's Hazza and Moon on the mic, ready to show us the action.
Thank you so much, guys. Yes, like you put it, a win for the UK all but confirms the live stage, and Italy playing a game of catch-up. Don't want to get their tail caught by the two teams which will be playing towards the tail end of this game, Germany and Spain. But for now, of course, we focus all eyes on those middlemen and women, as you put it, Pavlos. Moon, coming into this one, I think both teams have shown exceptional amounts of promise. Maybe that hasn't been fully realised. A little bit of trolling, as Pal put it, for Team UK. Where are you setting your sights on this one?
Well, looking at how both teams came into the tournament and how they progressed, I mean, one sentence that I have been using continuously yesterday was seeing how Team Italy kept on growing, right? That rate of growth has been scary. Again, we might be talking about a cohesive team, to steal the words, of course, of Ryan. That cohesiveness started to be built. Like, we didn't see that much of cohesiveness on Ascent for the first map when they played Team Turkey. Team Turkey were just too much of a tough cookie to crack, but then slowly but surely, they started displaying that. Now, what I'm most interested to see and hear from Team Italy is how they're going to be addressing a Team UK that played this map yesterday and run away with this map in the most miraculous way after the play from Link, if you remember, from the shadow at the back of sight.
Yeah, only compositional difference for Team UK in comparison to yesterday is that with Puffy coming into the team, it means that we're going to be seeing a Cypher instead of Lime's typical Killjoy pick, which puts him then in turn back on the Jet as all of the mental pieces sort of fit together. And I know this is a little bit sad not to see a repeat of Scarlet yesterday. I think she did a brilliant job in that role, but Lime is also going to offer plenty of fragging power of his own. As we said before, when he used to play on Angry Titans, before he joined Focus and became now teammates with your boy Lewis on the Breach, and you know they have that kind of link-up synergy. He was still a top player in towards challengers and even the VRL finals that we saw from them there, as well as we made the playoff stage of that competition. Looking at the Italy comp, it's Beepo on Jet instead. 4 and 7 in opening duels yesterday, struggled quite a bit against Lux, but if his performance yesterday is anything to go off, then we could be in a different day altogether.
Yeah, clearly, and what I really appreciate in here is, and that's something that's getting a little bit, let's say, forgotten and goes by us without really noticing it. Honestly, I'm very fond of the way Tag plays. This guy is extremely disruptive. This guy will always pop from a place that you would expect the least. He will always offer opportunity, golden opportunities for Team Italy. I missed a couple, of those occasions yesterday on Split. One of them is still quite resonating in my mind. He just tried to take Heaven while his team was trying to assault Site B. Didn't quite work out as he missed a clear double. That could happen. But again, with Tag on the attack, they could be sending him as, the sacrificial lamb that could turn the situation around for his team. And a good start for Lime, already being ballistic on Mashi. And that's an initial headshot that happened in the blink of an eye. We're starting at an extremely high speed, Hazza.
Yeah, brilliant work from Line to kick things off. UK with the early C-long pressure, a little set play perhaps to try and put him in a fragging position, and already delivering on the mantle given up to him by Scarlet as of yesterday. Lewis, the B anchor, as he has been solid on the pistols before, and he will be again. 2 heads claimed, putting Edu stepping back into the lineup in a difficult position, to say the least. An untenable one. Flawless for UK to kick things off on their pistol round.
Nearly untouchable in that round, Team UK. Positioning-wise, they were excellent. One thing I would like to point out, Team Italy in here were extremely quick on the trigger. They decided to play that quick pistol round. I think that after losing one player, after losing Machi, they just decided to, try to recover and go back quickly on a rotation. Everything happened in less than 12 seconds. And, well, given the layout of Haven, that was to be expected, and 2 defenders already positioned around side B, which make things quite impractical for Italy. But again, second round, the buy-in here is not extremely encouraging on the Italian side, but oh boy, that Slime grabbing a kill on Kaiden, misses a second one, and things are looking quite hectic for the Italian squad.
I don't think Lime is going to have cleared the corner. The aftershocks there, but the flick is good. A safe pair of hands, UK doubling up with that singular casualty. But yeah, like you put it, we saw yesterday they did a brilliant job at quashing the B plays, the late B plays most namely from Spain. This one comes a whole lot earlier from the Italian side, but matters not. Into the bonus, we're looking at what kind of an investment they confront. It's a full set of rifles and, well, a few kept for the UK's own.
Yes, and Italy have everything to prove now. I mean, let's face it, first and second round, I think we're a little bit substandard for anything that we've seen from Team Italy yesterday. An important point in here is that Kaiden was taking most of the weight on his shoulders against Team France on the first half. But again, let's just keep on following closely what Italy might be cooking for us on this round.
Yeah, early information play teed off by Lewis and Lime, the one to interact. Link going for a foray of his own, but it's an unsupported endeavor, and Mochi takes him down. Lewis in rotation already will be here to support the site, and hand in hand with his Jet player, it looks as if UK are trying to hold on to this one. They don't want to let it slip, and Lime will clutch it firmly. 2 already as the headshots rack up for him. And Caden to another clutch scenario. Good yesterday, but as the sun dawns on a new day, UK are up 3-0.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're stuck in a position. There's nothing much you can do. Whatever you move, your enemy could get rid of you. And out of nothing, Lewis just stealing away those kills. Miraculous play coming from him. We've seen also Caden giving us a little bit of taste of what we've seen yesterday, but it was quite the precarious position. Quite easy to counter as well.
Yes. Again, we have to be looking at these win conditions, of which yesterday, yes, Italy pushed France incredibly close on Split, a map which they decimated Spain on at a scoreline of 13-3 in the opening fixture. But Caden's clutch, pretty instrumental in that. The only player on the Italy side to go positive for kills and overall impact in terms of first engagements as well, taking quite the number of them, the Omen player. But already looking at the cams here in this technical pause, a slight impasse, but as you can see, pretty much every player on the Team UK side smiling ear to ear, cracking a joke or two, keeping the vibes up, as is important in a time like this.
And I suppose that's the least you could expect. I mean, beautiful start so far. No question marks in here, nothing to be marked down. You played a perfect, flawless first round. The second round was, you know, almost free of mistakes. Maybe just the angle check from side B, that didn't happen, but recovered, of course. Team UK ended up giving away only 1 player, so it wasn't that big of a punch to their economy. And you also managed to win your bonus round. I mean, if that's not the perfect start for you, in a best of 1, I don't know what would be.
Yeah. I'm liking that we get to see the player cams here and the coach cam as well if you're looking at PAL on the technical pause. The Liberty won't last long though. We are diving straight back into the action. UK converting the bonus up 3-0. Italy looking to respond. Tag has brought up into a hero rifle. Caden has a Marshall, and perhaps that is the long-barreled gun that cracks open the entry towards A. Still a Cypher setup waiting with Puffy sat behind it.
Here in here, Italy will try to march towards site A. I think they have the ability. They're relying on this hero Vandal in the hands of Tag to maybe equal at this situation, but excellent read in here, the detection, and 3 players gone. We'll meet them on the next round, and Caden again! Just delivers another hit shot.
Italy giving them every single chance back into this one. Puffy's gun tucked away in the heavens, irretrievable unfortunately enough for them after she lit up 2 players and turned those lights into kills in the feed. Caden has managed to snag himself a Phantom. Lime only has 1 updraft, trying to create a bit of pressure, dashes in over the top instead, but can't land the kill onto Tag. And it's Link in another clutch scenario, but with that crossfire broken and the double up swing, there's a chance that beckons, but it slips through the fingers. Tag holds on, and that is an important thrifty round that Italy can claim.
Excellent, excellent round from Tag, and very well thought from Team Italy. I mean, you know, that Vandal gave results. Normally you would look at that purchase and like,
The Marshall,
okay,
man.
Yeah, the Marshall as well. I mean, Kaiden opened up the side, but a triple in the hands of Tag just eased things up. I mean, they combined really well overall, and I think that Team UK were a little bit playing this round a little bit too comfortably, I think.
Yeah.
A bit unlucky with the bot as well. I mean, it snitched well.
Yeah, a few overpeaks in the 4 versus 2 ends up costing them. Gives Italy a chance, and one they're all too happy to take. Masters of their own destiny as things stand. And Lime will look to spear the UK forward by himself. They converge from both ends, short and long. You put 2 and 2 together and you end up with only 1. It's Tag, the final remaining Italian player. And if this angle isn't cleared, then the wraparound from Puffy will spell disaster and a kill to set UK right back on track.
If that's not a brutal round from UK, I think that we've seen 3 players committed on that position. They were fearless. They just pushed. Team Italy panicked overall. They didn't know what to do. The other players, if not mistaken, it was Bippo and Edicos, were stuck in a corner. They could not respond to the impeding assault from Lime. He had his knives on. Okay, all right. A double P could have saved the situation, but Link popping as well from short just made the situation unsalvageable for Team Italy, and back to square one with a dwindling economy, one Phantom, one Vandals in their hands, and well, looking to make things work with probably a lockdown in here and... Right.
Yeah. Italy playing the same comp that Spain did yesterday, and the big difference for UK is they've got that Sky, so just popping through, making these re-aggressions has been so beneficial. And again, you can see this coordination between the two players. It is Link and Lime this time around. And just the opening kill onto Bippo. One of those rifles lost right inside the doorway. I believe Tag may have been able to get his hands on it for the time being, but as Kaden has already scaled quite the way up towards A, they could be looking to make a move from this. Flashback in, a lack of information gained. Grouping up on short, and UK moving around elsewhere. We'll try and deny as much of this space as possible and be quick to flank. Still not quite hitting the site. A full rotation has been made, but Puffy, the first line of defense, has already fallen.
Oh, Soulcast. Oh, misses Tag.
Last player standing.
All right, you gotta hate it when this happens, and the blink of an eye turns into one-on-one, and Link does not disappoint. Well, that's years of experience in that shot.
Omen
Unforgiving.
1v1 is his this time around. Kaden has been good for it before, but Link's track record is littered with those kinds of results in clutch situations. Think of his time on Liquid as the highlight piece. And of course, it all began with that Fish 1-2-3 spell alongside Soulcast. Italy timeout, 6 rounds played, quarter of the way through regulation yet again. And I think that this is a good time as ever to be investing such a call.
Definitely. Now, you do have the economy to commit for a comfortable buy. You'll finally find yourself for the second time with a full buy. Hopefully, they do not squander it as they did on the 5th round played. That push from Team UK was just relentless, and it's quite clear that Team Italy wasn't ready to intercept anyone. Like, one would have expected a 49, maybe something of the sort, no flashes were applied, to slow down the push. I mean, you just cannot expect it. Definitely not at this level of competition. Definitely not when these stakes are at play, and Team UK will also take the opportunity to discuss what they could be doing on this round. Trying to ponder what Team Italy is preparing as a game plan for the remainder of the half. But the score stands still at 5-1. Team UK clearly dominating the game so far. Italy sometimes seemingly close to be able to reap those rounds, and sometimes seeming extremely distant from doing so. But this full buy should tell us the story as a whole.
Oh, the Flash has dodged Kaden. And with Lime introducing this operator to the fray the first time we see it so far this game, we'll have to keep tabs on the right side of the map because there will be an interesting interaction when all is said and done. Kaden has breached the A site entirely unawares of the rest of the UK team, and Italy may look to be taking up that option because Link has showed them out of garage, belonging to him for now. Lime walking into this first drone, and Kaden already up towards A connector. And even so far as defenders spawn, Lime drops the spike. But can they sink that final blow? Kaden's actually wrapped back to the site itself now, Moon.
He has the information. There's an operator along short, and he'll try to get rid of him, but turns around and disposes of Soulcast. And, well, it's pretty much clear by now that Lime is stuck. And I do think that Kaden does not have the freedom to move, and that leaves the whole Team Italy hostage, making these reckless moves. And, well, 1v4, he did it before. Can he do it again? Well, Lewis allows him to. One step closer.
Certainly gets started on it, Kaden, but Link goes one better. That's 4 for him on the round. And that was a weird one, right? It felt like Italy playing past the parcel with the spike. It was outside of a lobby. It ends up in mid, gets dropped by Lewis. And the whole time, Lime is just sat in short and you expect them to be playing vicariously through the position of Caden, but there was no real development made on that. You know, we weren't taking the precautions to be droning sewers, and Lime will drag them down with him. So an important round, that's 6 on the defender's side, and the operator put to good use.
And again, that's Lime playing as recklessly as he can, but this time around, Link does not appear to relieve him from this effort. He actually does and loses his life. Now could be a round on which Team Italy could capitalize as Caden intervenes with yet another kill to his collection. 5v3 in the blink of an eye, Spike arriving to the site right away, and it's Slime peeking with his operator knives, not leaving him any chance, and this round looks to be gone unless Lewis and Soulcast turn things around.
Tag should be the closer here. Oh, it's a little bit messy, but Soulcast will be downed. Lewis takes the operator and looks to disengage. Still, players hot on the heels, may just be vying for an exit, which he will pick up quite gladly. Mid uncharted waters. And again, lingering in this position with Mochi close by, tries to scope in for it, but cannot pick up the kill. Yeah, UK with some decent team play to shut things down, but the biggest victory for my eyes from Italy in that round is the fact that they can sit on top of all 5 ults and keep them warm coming into the next.
Yeah, and the next round will be extremely important. If you take a look at the economy of Team UK right now, yes, they have been winning round after round, but things do not look great for them. The loss of this round will push them to be on an eco, and that's a good caution for Team Italy to, you know, sort of, I wouldn't say guarantee, but get them better odds of collecting a 4th round after it. But the hurdle right now is to combine all of those ultimates in a positive manner. A manner that would be profitable for this team as, again, Lime with the operator. It's an operator, I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Peering into the entry of face site. And, well, decision made. Right, we're scheduling back towards mid. But look at Link.
The Owl Drone has spotted it out early. Soulcast is here looking to flash close, collects information, and the kill to go with it. Caden is down, and that's pulled the pin on the C play. Puppy in defense with only a Sheriff, and it won't be good enough for now. Another nose from Link to take control of C Long has funneled them into the site itself. They will be looking to take a more aggressive stance towards CT, where Soulcast should be joining them. Even the Rolling Thunder, so many ults wagered on this round by Italy to draw it over the line, and he's just about going to get away with his life for it as well. So the remaining defenders will ensue. Soulcast just has to bait them further and further away, which he's done to an extent before dropping down himself.
Okay, and very good planting here for the defender's spawn, and the Hunter's Fury denying initially the defuse of the spike. And that's Link forfeiting his life. Well, we're in for a round of torture, I suppose. No defuse happening yet. And Lime, I think, just trying to pull everyone to die with the explosion of the spike. But I think that everybody will make it to safety as Italy reaps the 3rd round for themselves with potentially... But certainly an eco. I do not believe that Team UK would commit to a buy this round.
Well, we'll just have to see what the scores on the doors are, but something that we can take away from that is that Italy have been repeating the same offense on C to find quite the success from it as well. Team UK match the value of the Italian timeout with one of their own. To just discuss what we've seen in the past couple. Link already buying into a rifle, but whether that stays the same or not by the time Pal has said his piece is yet to be seen. Yeah, Moon, I think it's an interesting round, all things considered. UK still giving themselves some life in that retake, but yeah, not quite happening for them. It seems like whenever Italy can bring things to a post plant, that is where they're able to thrive. And that team play that we see coming through from the Desire members is at its peak.
Yes, the statistics do make justice to your statement. In the 3 plants that we've seen, Team Italy were able to run away with a point. That's for certain. One might be led to believe that, you know, Team UK would need to sit down and discuss how they manage their after plant. The retake, how to organize, because, you know, losing players right away on the site would mean that you would need to wait for a bit, reorganize, make sure that each and every player will take a specific position and enter from a specific entry point with a specific sequence of utility. Of course, you cannot plan everything, as a lot of random events could happen, but for now, UK seems disorderly when it comes to the order of entry towards the site. And speaking of entry, that's people already taking a corner and running away with the head of Lime, and Lewis taking revenge for his teammate.
Oh, some very specific bullets from Lewis, with absolutely no prejudice about them, right between the eyes. And a 3 versus 2, but they need to kick on from here, and it looks like they might. That makes it his third, and he's in for more. Give that man the keys to the kingdom. Lewis, the Welshman, pulls it over the line yet again with a stunning Sheriff piece.
Yeah, it seemed like he dropped his crown on the previous round and were able to pick it up at the beginning of this one. Lewis coming clutch for his team. You'd love to see those rounds, and it's not that Team Italy weren't able to play around all that utility play from Team UK. They just dropped players so quickly. They weren't ready for such a quick rotation from the UK counterparts, and it was just extremely clean.
It's exactly the kind of play that we theorized coming into this as well. A repeatable asset to their defense against Spain. Here comes the op duel. It's Lime who draws first, but Bippo holds on and repositions to a more open angle. The cloudburst suggests that Lime could be roaming towards back C himself, but nothing given away. And a trapwire in the choke means that the rotation is safe. A left entirely vacant. Looking at the ultimates available, they do have the Seekers to go back in, and Links from the Shadows is available. For those who remember the conclusion to yesterday's game, this man is possible of bringing out any kind of heroics, making the impossible possible, you could say.
That move is food for nightmares. Combine that with the way he's been holding Garage all this game. I really don't want to meet him on the server, but that's beating Soulcast, disposing of him, and the spell has been cast as the spike is on the ground, planted, secure, but that boy Lewis has, I don't know, I think he's written names on those bullets.
Yeah, the guy has a thinking cap on and he's sending many tipped hats over the edge. Another one, just so aware, while the Seekers may have been lost, UK not exactly dwindling for numbers. In comes the utility to begin the incision. Lime the first of the kills, and Lewis, his teammate, finds a bit more. UK dial in, they focus their efforts, as the focus boys will find an 8th.
My ult's ready. Change of plan.
Stacking those skills and getting the defuse. Yeah, boy, Lewis is ready for next round. A rolling thunder in order to disrupt the way Team Italy would be playing. It will definitely be committed. It's the last round. And do you reckon that they might be cooking an aggressive play to maybe destabilize Team Italy even more?
I mean they might be. It doesn't look like there's one set up for us here, other than Lime's operator continuing to be a thorn in the side of this Italian attack. Again, a nuisance on A long, and Soulcast has done a brilliant job so far of allowing Lime to take these more aggressive angles, and especially this smoke. It's supposed to be selling presents for Italy, but Lime just doesn't care. He fights on the front lines every damn time, and with his counterpart shattered, there is no duelist to take Italy forwards into this round.
They would be completely reliant on Caden unless someone else takes the responsibility of disposing of this player. Caden has, from the shadow, he can safely extract himself from this position at any given point in time. I guess Moshi could safely leave this area and try maybe to exploit another entry with the rest of Team Italy, and that's a Rolling Thunder preemptive. Or to win some time, all the Seekers doing the investigative job, and things are looking bad for Team Italy again.
Oh, and even then, Lime sends a shot between the legs of Caden. A Panenka of sorts and a golden casing, which drops him down to only 5 HP. Lime holding on to the possibility of more peaks, and will be greeted with a gift. Christmas has come early for Team UK with 8 rounds already established, and Puffy, the center point of just pulling this one apart. The TP across, and the double kill to close.
An obvious angle for an obvious ending to this round. I do believe that Team Italy clearly froze the moment they lost Bippo right away.
Yeah.
It felt to me like, okay, what do we do now? And, you know, there was a whole conversation going on. Again, Kaden could have left that position pretty much easily with his ultimate. I mean, I think given what's going on, to avoid... He could even use his regular TP, right?
Yeah.
Because he had cover coming from Marshy, so leaving that position, fine. I understand that you would like to keep more pressure on the A player, but what's the point of it when your team is still spread out around side B with no plan in hand? That's what I'm asking myself.
It was an attack which lacked inspiration, but if anything would get Italy back up and running here, it is that the UK have typically struggled a little more in the second half of their games to hold on when it matters most, and qualification on the line, every incentive for them to just carry on. The tag swats it all away. 3 kills picked up and a 3 versus 1 for the trailing Puffy. Cage coming in to allow her a little room for breath. But that is all. Everything else constricted positioning. But that smoke actually does a great deal of help. First fight taken, information known. Looking for the jewel on Edu, but it will not land for her. Italy find 4 of their own.
Excellent point to start the half, and this might be the beginning of the redemption road for the Italian team. They looked quite alive. Again, Tag seemed to be extremely thirsty for kills in here. The way he was flicking people around, a triple to his name. But again, let's not be too quick on the judgment. It's still the pistol round. We've seen many teams just make the most out of those rounds and then fall to their doom. And that next one, hopefully nothing of that happening. The longer series, the more entertaining it will get for us. And speaking of entertainment, another headshot in the same fashion coming from Lime. Just take away any scope weapon from the hands of this man. Just take it away.
Yeah, I mean, despite the buy, Lime doing everything he needed and then some, finding the head of Bippo. The Marshall matchup flips to the side of the team in front. Again, not much room for error for this defense. And against pistols like this, you probably don't want to be offering too many fights. Solkas, ample opportunity to find Tag, yet no damage dealt, and it's Link next up to the plate to try and deliver for Team UK.
And huge blunder here initially from Kaden.
Oh no.
This is looking extremely bad for Team Italy. And, well, Marchi at least gets initially a consolation kill. Could potentially turn into a clutch, but the odds are extremely low.
Yeah, I mean, Italy overfacing in so many of those instances, and Mochi even trying to be the silver lining to this round, can only find a Marshall from the body of the deceased. Solkas is holding close. The ghost has got to be good, and it's already done most of the work, but Link will cut the rest out for her. 3 for him is double digits Team UK, and just as I said that there wasn't much opportunity for them to let this one slip, they do exactly that. Italy downed by a thrifty round.
I mean, just taking a look at what happened in there, Educo's just, you know, got Team UK handed to him on a silver platter with the opportunity to make the most out of it. Excellent effort coming from Mashi again. We didn't see a lot of her on the first half, but again, shining. Sadly, the effort was not enough as Link runs away with that point. 10-4, and things are starting to look a little bit more grim on Team Italy as they're forced to play with Sheriffs only. One classic on the hands of Kaiden. Well, there's just so much you can expect from this round, Haza.
Italy, there would have been a lot of expectation coming into this game, full stop. I think they'd certainly put a lot of eyes on themselves as well, with the game against Spain upcoming next. A victory here of a scoreline 13-9 or greater, I believe, would have been enough to at least have eliminated their next opponents. But for now, we focus on the current, because Italy have made a damn good go of this. Link mows them down through the smoke and strips it all away. Hopes and dreams shattered for yet another round at least. An 11th now, with yet no response on the opposite end.
Overall, it was a very good opener coming from Team Italy, right? They got themselves an entry on in the hands of Tag. You know, offering Kaden as a sacrifice initially while trying to take this side, but even if they traded that kill, it's just that you're trying to combat Link inside of a shroud. He has absolute information, and it was clear to us, even after the flash, that, you know, Mashi coming into that shroud just didn't have a clear idea on where he was standing. So the moment they decided to take that fight, it was kind of over for me. At least a personal opinion from my end, and Team UK just trying to make use of this hemorrhage happening, this bleeding happening in Team Italy, as they capitalize on side B and no concession whatsoever from the defenders. That's done by Plant.
Oh, and we're going into the retake from the Italian perspective at a numbers disadvantage. Kaden, again, laying the law of the land and restoring order for his squad. But positions should be all too aware. Lewis instead backs up into an opponent, and Italy have the lead in a 4 versus 2. But as long as Link and Lime are alive, anything is possible. Down to just the duelist. Knows about the position of a couple and has found the first inside the smoke. Aware of the second, the half stick. But with bated breath, he pays with patience and pays out huge, massively for Team UK. And again, Italy, an opportunity gained and immediately lost 12-4.
And again, lost to individualities. You know, you're playing a 4v2. In these scenarios, I mean, it just makes absolute sense that, you know, your strength, your advantage is in numbers. I do not believe that going into those head-to-head, going into those 1v1s would be beneficial whatsoever, you know, especially that you gain the advantage in numbers. Now we're looking for an enemy, you don't know where he is, you need that teammate with you to cover for you to refrag if possible, and the end result of that is Italy squandering yet another opportunity with the scoreline being 12-4, as UK looks to play a little bit aggressively on side C before maybe receding and changing directions towards B.
Early pressure towards C. Link is 20-6 at this point in time. Hitting the double digits and then some, or whatever it was that Mitch coined the phrase, but yeah. Guy's been an absolute monster. Kaden with a quick check to allure suspicions. Here is the player we talked so greatly about, Paranoia, not quite catching tag and getting away with it. Can look to hold on for one more round. The lockdown invested from Garage, and UK want to chase this away. Shoo out the possibility through Puffy, but she will fall amongst the rest. Italy, a 5th for them now.
That was impressively smart from Team Italy. All right, duel taken on A short. That's a kill. Fine. Amazing. Beautiful. But then again, you're lacking information. You don't know what's going on. Kaden immediately commits his from the shadows. Takes a look around side C. Knows exactly what's going on side C. No one in sight. No one on long. No one trying to plant the spike. The idea is clear. They're trying again to build towards B. And this has been a staple in the UK strat book on Haven. What happens? Italy organize, and this time give them a run for their money.
Yeah, it's a slower start this time from Team UK, but ultimately a more cohesive one. Beepo, their due diligence taken. C control established, but Lime's already hit the site, going straight for the jugular, edge you out the picture, and Kaden just can't connect the shots when he needs them most. Finally, the sinking blow lands for a 3 versus 3 as the spike gets planted.
Okay, and Puffy relying on this Bucky in here. Nobody knows exactly where she is, but I do hope someone would check out that position for the sake of checking. I'm not cheering here on any side, but Puffy is somehow undetected. Nope. Diagnose, and Lewis obliterating Team Italy and ending it with a quad.
Another 4K for Lewis. The guy just makes it look easy as UK walk all over Italy. It was in their own hands to kick forward and make the rest of this competition, or should I say, the final play day, look a little more comfortable for them. But now that goes out the window, and it just makes this final game of the evening that much more exciting. Coming into the evening, there was a difference of 21 rounds between Italy and Spain. That gap has now, well, not necessarily narrowed quite a lot, but Italy have done themselves a disservice there. It's so many fine moments not quite going their way. It paints a pretty damning scoreline in the end as the UK progressed quite nicely to the live stage.
Yeah, and I suppose that Team Italy in here will sit down and rediscuss this choice that was made, Haven as a map. It seemed to me initially that Team Italy did not know how to negotiate this map at the same level as UK did. I'll say they didn't, it's just that the standard and the preparation was clearly different, all right? And I really appreciated the way Team UK played. This is completely different from the Team UK that we watched on the previous day. They were incisive, they were accurate, they were deadly, all of them. They were winning duels right and left. There was no name left away from the scoreboard, aside from, of course, a gigantic performance coming from Link in this map.
Yeah, when it comes to the individuals, they certainly succeeded, and even then the advantages not squandered all too often. A full breakdown of this one, of course, will be followed up by Pavlos and Ryan.
Thank you very much, Hazza. And what a lovely match that was. And of course, it means two things, right? Team UK qualify to playoffs, no questions asked. But there are more questions to be asked when it comes to who will be the fourth and final seed.
Yeah, I mean, I think Italy kind of in a tricky position now because they still have Spain to play in their final game. So if Spain do win up against Germany a little later on, that game should be a little bit more competitive. It might even be a position that Italy kind of flounder on a little bit, because this game, I was expecting it, again, similar to the first game that we saw, to be a little bit closer. And you've got UK winning the pistol, they win the bonus, they lose a 50 round 4 that they maybe shouldn't have done, but since then it was just clean, consistent rounds that they were picking up. Some of them were clutches, like 1v1s, but ultimately it almost felt like Team UK was always in control.
And I think more crucially, it wasn't a one-man show from Team UK either. When you look at yesterday's match, your boy Lewis was the only player pretty much fragging. Don't get me wrong, he was doing really well. But this time around, he had help, right? Link showed up. The rest of the team showed up. Every single one of them had worthy, mentionable moments. And I think that's what's really crucial in these types of situations. Obviously, you're not coming into prep. Obviously, you're not coming into days and days or weeks of scrims. All you've got is the coordination you have at hand and how you perform on the day on the server. And that's exactly what Team UK had today. Everybody felt alive. Everybody felt well to do what they had to do. And they did it best than any other times they had the opportunity to do so thus far. So that's their result as well, which gives them a third victory and qualification into playoffs.
Also, like Lime playing on the Jet, it just seemed very like natural for him. He had played the duelist before with the Euro Unbind, but it didn't really work out all that well. So I was a little bit worried about not seeing Scarlet in the server, seeing Lime in that position, but he did such a terrific job. It's probably the best that he's played so far for Team UK in this tournament, I'd say. And it just goes to show that this team is incredibly flexible and they can really warm up to this tournament. I think UK has looked better and better after each game that they've played.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do. And that means there's good signs to come. And that's exactly what the game plan your boy Lewis has brought up earlier when he had another interview last week, right? That's the plan. Get better day by day. And eventually when they get to playoffs, they'll be good enough to deal with their competition. But talking about your boy Lewis, he's actually there and waiting for an interview that we'll be having with him yet again. So let's... but before we do that, I'm just letting everybody know that your boy Lewis is going to be coming in onto the interview. But yes, we've got the MVP. Who's going to be?
Ooh, I mean, it's going to be Lewis again, right? Like, it's just having one performance on the breach on Haven is one thing. Having it twice happen in a row. At least this time it didn't feel like Lewis was clearing up rounds that the rest of Team UK was kind of throwing, like yesterday. It just sort of felt that he was really adding on to the team, and at no point really, other than a couple of thrifties, did I feel that UK were really floundering any rounds in particular. It felt that they were dealing with stuff comfortably and winning out clutches when they came up.
Yeah, it was all the basics, wasn't it? They were able to be composed in the moments that they had to be, you know, play the team game, not really go for too many ego frags. And in the occasions that they did go for some ego peaks, they came out on top. So what else can you ask for, especially from your boy Lewis?
Yeah, and having Link be able to really perform well as well. Like, he had a great moment yesterday and he's been consistently getting better as well. So against Turkey, I'm very interested what damage UK could do. Maybe break that streak. Because I said it was Turkey, Italy before, but it's not. It's UK.
That is true. That is true. And we'll be interested to see how that one works out. But the interview, I promise you all, is right here, right now. Your boy Lewis, welcome to the broadcast. yet again. Let me ask you: have you already got any plans for Spain? Any sort of sites you're going to go and visit? Have you got it already laid out the itinerary?
I actually haven't, but if I did, it would have been like, when Spike Nations actually got announced, to be fair. I mean, we were always going to go. I think, is that 100% in now? I think it was 100% in anyway, right? Or it was close to it, at least.
Yeah, you only needed this win basically to lock it in 100%, and you've done it. Congrats.
Yeah, should have done it the other day as well, but we wanted to just test some things against France, which didn't really work out. But yeah.
I was going to say, like, you've sort of played Haven back to back, like two pretty much MVPs on the breach as well. Like yesterday, it sort of felt that you were clearing up a couple of rounds that maybe, like, for example, the A execute people out clearing corners on like sewers and stuff like that, like Soulcast Eyes, you trade and kind of clear up some of those rounds. Whereas today was a lot more dominant. Like, you guys just getting better over time? Are you feeling much more comfortable than when you started? Because it was sloppy to begin with. First interview, you said that Pal was calling you out for throwing a couple of rounds. Now it feels like that you're not really getting caught out as much anymore.
I'd say today was a bit more of a different approach. Like, we knew we had to win, and we just said, like, let's actually bring some energy to it today, and let's fully try. I think we've been a bit more laid back in the other games, just been enjoying ourselves a bit more. I think we overdid it a bit, overcooked a bit against France, like I mentioned. But I think we were just very laid back, and today we were just like, all right, let's just go and win, get it out the way. So we also enjoyed ourselves in that as well, and it was a very fast game. But also, we didn't come up against anyone hitting live shots and live gaming today like we did yesterday. So,
Love it. All right, this is a two-parter and a last question as well. First of the two parts, if you could pick anyone from the UK to be joining this team, who would it be?
I don't know.
Is there any other Welsh players? I can't think of any.
There's a few Welsh players, yeah. There's none that are like kind of like within. I don't think there's any inside of like at least VCLs at the minute, like challengers or above. But there is a few Welsh players. But nah, I don't know. I mean, if you want a funny team, get Ardis in there, you may as well.
Love it, love it.
God
All right,
forbid.
I'm being told off
I
for
think
time.
I think if Ardis was in that team with me and a few of the other ones as well, I don't think we would take it serious at all. So it's a good job, maybe.
You'd either win it or you'd bum out. There's no in between.
Yeah, we wouldn't get through the groups.
All right, thank you so much for the interview, your boy Lewis. It's been a pleasure as always.
Nice one. Thanks very much.
All right, what a lovely guy, and what a gorgeous win for Team UK to qualify to playoffs. Ryan, any thoughts before we throw things over to a break?
I'm really glad that UK is just sort of getting into that form now. Like, they actually look like the competitor that I wanted to see from them. And yeah, against Turkey tomorrow, both teams have pretty much qualified. They've got their spots. It's all for seeding. It'd still be a good chance to see UK what damage they can really do.
Indeed. Now, it's going to be Spain versus Turkey. Well, no, Spain versus Germany up next, and it's a fight for survival to see who can make it into playoffs. Make sure you stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back very soon. Hello everyone and welcome back to Spike Nation's third match of the day underway. It's going to have to be Germany versus Spain. Two teams we've had very high expectations for, but have both disappointed.
I mean, especially for Team Spain, yeah. Like, you look at the players, you look at the roster as a whole, and you sort of expect them to be sort of firm favourites. And I'm not saying that because the majority of production is from Spain as well, but it really is just a case of, like, they seem to be the home nation, it almost feels like, and they've not been able to get a win under their belt. It's been a tragic start. It's been getting better, and they also had a really tough first week, but now is a game that they absolutely should not be losing. But I've said that a couple of times already.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about tragic, and that is the most tragic thing of all, right? Lose this match, and basically you're out from playoffs. Now, talking about the rosters in general, we did touch that Spain is a strong one, but Germany is not a team you should look away from at all. Players from Tier 1 or Tier 2 experience, you've got Masashi, Benny, Valorant, Leeson, all of them noteworthy within the Tier 1 and Tier 2 scene. And then you've got players such as Lil Bob, Karina, having absolutely splendid performances in the game changers scene as well. Where if you look onto the Spanish side, you've even got some Tier 1 legends like Fatinho jumping in, the Giants representative, as well as a lot of other firepower with the likes of Nick Serino, Uring, and Forwen, together with two excellent Toki and Leah players that I'm sure, Ryan, you've got a lot to tell us about.
Yeah, Toki was exceptional yesterday. Bowen had a really good series on the silver for Haven as well, but Toki was her debut yesterday, and really the Spanish team looked a lot more stronger. Like, the firepower was there, the individual moments that they could put together were there. I think if we're looking at Germany, there was some like really good moments, like Alorante, the 1v5 clutch that he was able to get pretty early on Lotus yesterday, but it was just never a case of like they have miracle rounds with Team Germany, but there's nothing consistent there to build off of. Spain, I think, should have enough about them to be able to see this one through, but I think if Germany starts well, there's a chance that Spain just implode here.
I think it also made me a matter of whoever takes this the most seriously, right? You can either fall under the mentality, all right, it's over, 0-3, what's going to happen? What's another
Nobody
loss,
wants to get battered.
Right?
Nobody wants to go dead last, though. That's
exactly, and that's what it's all about. And I hope that these two teams take up on that mentality. But I do believe it's the map veto time, so we'll be able to see what playground these two teams will be competing on. We're seeing a lot of bans that have been anticipated so far. The basics are out, but the splits remain. So we'll be seeing that one again.
I think for Spain, it's a little bit worrying because you went up against Team France and were only able to pick up 3 rounds, I think, in the end. So you want to see a little bit more life there overall. For Germany, they've had to sort of play out pretty much all different maps at this point. They've been pulled around in various different directions. I don't think we've seen them play split at all up until this point. So there's maybe potential there for at least Benny to bring out the Sage again, right, like we saw on Ascent, and maybe bring some interesting ideas to boot there.
Yeah, and instead of Vietnam flashbacks, I can see Spain having France flashbacks right now with splits. But this is the roster we'll be looking at. Karina, Lil Bob jumping in for this one, while it's Valorant, Masashi, and Leeson. For Team Spain, we're looking at Fatinho, Nick Serino, Yuri, and Forwen, and Toki. I believe Team Spain are sticking with the same roster as the last time?
Yeah, it's yesterday, yeah. So Fatinho should be going maybe onto the Sentinel role, but then again, it is split, so maybe you can run some double duelists, put Fatinho on Raze, Toki on Jet, kind of go from there. So I am curious on role-wise what they're going to be playing. Nick Serino could also play the Sentinel role like we saw against Team France, but his control of his omen yesterday was pretty solid, and so it might make sense to just keep that going.
Yeah, it feels like Spain is taking an upwards trajectory in terms of performance, at least, right? Giving a good show against Team UK, who really took down Italy quite strongly earlier today. So let's see how this one works out. Will it be Spain or Germany? It's our casters, Haz and Moon, to take it all away.
This is an elimination match in every sense of the word. A 4th loss for either of these teams will put them in an irreparable position. Moon, heading into this one, we've seen Spain improve. Perhaps Germany took their foot off the gas pedal from when they started this competition with such a narrow loss to Team UK. What are your thoughts and feelings coming into this on Split?
Well, I'm getting mixed feelings. I mean, essentially, if you look at the squad that's coming from Team Spain, I think that this is the 5-people roster that made the most sense and that showcased the best potential. Same goes for Germany. I'm just a little bit worried about Split because Team Spain seemed a little bit lost, but if you take a look at the agent selection in here, well, we're not even close to be mirrored. We're talking about a double duelist composition with VALORANT on this monster of an agent. I mean, we've seen VALORANT previously. He's wicked as a player when it comes to kills, and you just, oh my god, just give him the Reina. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm very worried for Spain here.
Perhaps for those listening along and with a keen ear, it was mentioned there, Reina is the agent that VALORANT has gone for, and perhaps all care thrown out of the window. We are yet to see. In Benny's absence, it's probably the most Benny agent pick that I think we have seen so far, always innovating with composition. But both of these teams may need to stick to the tried and tested. It hasn't worked out for them so far. A few positives to take for each and every one of them at this point in time. Italy tripping up in the previous game, at least when you consider round differential, keeps both teams, namely Spain, in the game for now. Can they seize the moment and run away with it, begin that great escape? Or will they fall under the pressure? One of these teams will be forced to walk come the end of this afternoon. It's just a question of who that is.
Who that is, a question that will be answered in the last minutes remaining of today's evening. A good flash, very nice initiation, but the response is instantaneous, coming from Lil Bob, going big in this round, but Toki running away with a double wall Vorwin. Will capitalize on the third one. No answer coming from the defenders. Germany are obliterated and reduced to one-player Karina in here, looking to leave a mark in this game.
Certainly would take quite a lot for her to have an imprint, as instead it is a shot to the side of the cheek from Nick Sereno that will finish off the deal. A quick pistol round from Spain. They leave nothing on the field in that instance, and from the attack side of Split, that's a great early advantage to be taking. Both teams, of course, rocking the double duelist, but the picture looks a little different when you consider the inclusion of that Reina.
Okay, we're just looking at one round, but I keep on getting this feeling since the previous game that the addition of Toki to the roster in here inspired Team Spain to be a lot more aggressive. And you can see that even their initiation are bringing in positive points. They're able to grab the kills without suffering as much as they did versus Team France in Split previously. Yeah. So overall, you know, Team Spain's kind of stabilizing, and we're seeing a closer semblance of organized play, at least so far. Only one round. And only the future will tell if my words hold any sort of truth.
Yeah, a lot being put on Toki. Yesterday, Haven played, of course, the single duelist, so having Fatinho there as well will certainly weighten some of that responsibility. She's called to action here in the first engagement, but it is that VCT player we were speaking about which will dispense of Lil Bob early on. And that is a ridiculous shot from Leosen to deny her. In fact, Musashi follows it up. A 3 versus 4, not the most impossible of situations, but certainly one which will require a little more elbow grease if Germany are to get this one through. Flashing back into the site, greeted with firm resistance, and that is exactly why we put it as such. VALORANT is going to need another otherworldly clutch, but has managed to salvage the Bulldog at the very least. Instead, the Sheriff 5-4, 145 to the head would be good enough. Sinks the first blow, another to be picked
Oh my God.
But of course, he will get it. The usurper to the crown of the headshot king. Dome after dome, he gets it done again.
You know what makes it unreal is that Spain planned this out meticulously. They knew exactly what they were doing. They did everything right, and then Leosen just starts with this headshot. You can't even make it up. If you told me about it, I wouldn't have believed you. What an excellent effort in here, but in all honesty, VALORANT is just built differently. This man is just insane. The sense, the instinct in here just turns it around, and it's Spain now suffering from the result of the previous round, although they looked confident.
Yeah, I had Germany down as my dark horse coming into this competition, and look, while that may not have held true for the moment, VALORANT has certainly been one of the positives to take away for them so far. Spain pushed back onto an eco, Vorwin the only with a rifle as it stands. Musashi, one of his own, and looking to re-clear in towards mid. Quite the few players that will face, and a flash on the angle sets up Allo for more. Perhaps overzealous, shut down by Yuri. To 4 versus 4, and again, the wheels coming off.
All right, we're getting the vibes of round 2, part 2. This is exactly what's happening. Spain taking revenge on the defenders of Team Germany. A good flash coming up, not enough to even stop Team Spain from finding his plan, but Musashi will be happy to run away with this kill. Nixirino again finding the back of his opponents and gets backstabbed in this scenario, leaving Yuri to fend off for his life in a 1v2 scenario. Risky flash, accuracy not on point from Yuri, and that's little Bob making quick work of him. Diffuse and second round for Germany, while Ben looked probably very lethal. It looked like they were set for victory here.
Bit of prioritization as well means that you have the Cosmic Divide coming into the next. Defender side split, notoriously difficult to get too much value from it, but we will just have to see what the implementation looks like. Not the cleanest of rounds from Germany in that situation, but a round nonetheless. And we come into what looks like the first real gun buy for both of these two teams. A single Phantom in a sea of Vandals held on to by Yuri.
And, well, looking at the numbers so far, I mean, Vorwin has been pulling a lot of strings for his team. Honestly, he has been putting up numbers, including last game. I mean, yes, in terms of impact, we've seen Toki a lot being at the forefront for her team. But speaking of the forefront, that's VALORANT again, hurting Team Spain in the right spot. Vitinho getting revenge, but it's Karina that will fall down, and VALORANT lives to fight another battle.
Yeah, a little hot swap of players there. Karina finds herself in the firing line and her existence comes to a close at the expense of that Cypher utility. 4 versus 4, and Germany acutely aware of these positions, but the flash ends up making Leoson look like Snow White with a bird on his shoulder. Can't quite get it off. Tracks it to himself instead, and there's a blinding light on the opposite side which will fully catch him. Nice use of the blast pack, disengage, but Heaven Control has been conceded.
And as you can clearly see, this Team Spain spent so much time in here. So much time. They pulled the rotation of every German player left alive on the map.
30
seconds.
And by the time they decide to rotate to side B, the counter rotation is happening again. So it will be the same equation, just that the layout might be different, but it's Vorwin. The code, but I have no idea the train is in the back of the site.
They are going back, and like you say, walking straight into the open arms of VALORANT. Spike plant in the corner. Yuri has to hold on. Perhaps the Cosmic Divide will be enough of a safety net in and of itself, and that proves to be the case. 4 versus 2. Even then, Lil Bob is a ways away from getting involved. Leoson's beaten the player trap, however, and already fighting on the front lines. A couple kills for each would suffice, and that's exactly what they'll get. Germany fill their boots, and Spain toss away a surefire round.
And again, flashbacks from day one. Spain just working so hard to get there, and then I don't know, I can't put my finger on, you know, the decision making. I can't possibly imagine what the conversations are. I cannot imagine the reason that's making Team Spain stall so long, right? And just when they got, you know, the danger that I imagined was VALORANT. He was in the back of side. Cosmic Divide was available. He could have taken advantage of the situation, maybe grabbing 2 kills for his team, but no. It was dispatched really quickly, but then it was the time for Lil Bob to shine. And Leo as well. And both of them were enough to dismantle the defensive setup of Team Spain. And as a Spanish fan, you'd hate to see that, but this is reality. This is what we're at right now, while the 5th round is being played out with quite the unconvincing buy from Team Spain, unless we see a remake of round 3, perhaps?
Yeah, dismantle is the word you use. Disjointed is the feeling on the Spanish side of things. This is one of those rounds where the individual fights look a little bit better, or at least they should if you get them clean. Fatinho out in the open air, takes down Leosin and will chase up the next of Musashi with all his utility. Paint shells, one little bit would be enough. Empties the buckets, but Musashi hangs on by a thread instead. Spain just posturing up inside the choke. The spray is good. Vorwin involved in another duel. Musashi clean on the reposition, looking to reverse engineer the smoke onto his opponent, but will be unable to do so. And Karina in the 1 versus 3, taken down as Spain back on the board. A great response.
Excellent response from Spain, and as you can clearly see, there's a different of approach in here coming from them. They were a lot more efficient when it comes to taking advantage of the position they're in, which wasn't the case on the previous round, right? So they clearly taken control of 2 areas. The position of Fatinho was more than fit to open that side. The damage done on Musashi made them lose control of Heaven, and the deal was done. That's it. You just need to penetrate from B-long, and that's it. End of the story. And Team Spain executed this in a masterful way. No answer left for Team Germany, as they turn back to all the sheriffs, and I do not want to make any comment. I've seen too many sheriff demons so far, and, you know, Team Germany likes to keep the conversations short when they're handling such weapons, and that's VALORANT proving me right, at least initially.
It's not the sheriff, but the showstopper you've got to be worried about right now. That Guardian in the hands of VALORANT, making the first blow felt an impactful one in mid. I was just about to say, Spain, you're effectively playing for your 4th round here, or at least putting yourself in a position to keep it going. VALORANT again looking to be a strength of this German side, the only one to go positive against Turkey yesterday, 20 and 15. The match MVP, in fact, despite the result. Leosin continually inviting pressure, but Spain, again, a real lack of map control. And with 30 seconds left, they find themselves stuck in the bowels of the map and no position to really eject themselves onto.
Okay, and only one decision left, which is to rotate completely towards site A. VALORANT, with the Empress not able to put the damage that was needed. Missing shots from Karina on Musashi and Leosin punish their opponents, as Team Germany left with only 1 player, Lil Bob. Time to go big again. Impressive performance overall, but just a Guardian on their hands. And one just keeps on wondering what would the solution be, and Lil Bob, throwing yourself in the embrace of Vorwin is definitely not one of them. Kill and a 3rd round for Team Spain in here, bringing the game to a draw.
For the Spanish faithful, another one of our loyal fan bases that will be following along at home, it does not make for pretty viewing. Certainly not easy on the eye. Again, leaving it very, very late, but just about making it through by the skin of their teeth. And considering the bye on the German side, far from ideal conclusion there. Again, investment by both teams, rackingly close at this point in time. Bit slower pace, and a moment to just think back. Here comes Toki on the aggressive. The trapwire should have her dead to rights, but she gets bailed out by the rest of the team. Fatinho already on the site, but a crossfire set up, and VALORANT finding his pick before all is said and done. Nick Sereno makes sure that he's the next to fall, and while the Seekers have allowed them into the site, the main control that Spain have here is probably their most valuable asset at this point in time, and Yuri will prove exactly why, continuing on where they left off, and it's another 4v2 which Germany have to try and rectify.
Oh, 1 HP, no, 4 in Turkey. That was a close call, and Lil Bob again left alone. 1 versus 4, spotted by the camera, and Yuri not missing the occasion to get this kill. Has Spain run away with the 4th round? There are 2 notes that I would like to address in here. First and foremost is the way Team Spain has been playing for the couple of previous rounds. You can clearly see that all this explosiveness coming from Tokyo has kind of calmed down. Team Spain are preferring to play this slowly. They're taking their time. They're becoming a little bit more methodical, a lot more methodical, honestly. and it's more of a search for an entry, a search for a vulnerability that would allow them to control an area, which they are able every time to convert into an access to site. Team Germany, on the other hand, were extremely reliant on VALORANT. Again, in your own words, has been the only player going positive in the early stages of the game. So VALORANT has been playing aggressive, out of position. He had the support he needed in order to take those cheeky peeks, right? He doesn't do so anymore. And since he started playing cooped up in the back of site A, it felt like Germany lost their edge.
Yeah. I'm not too sure if that's perhaps the fairest assessment, considering the last couple rounds and the weapons that they had. And of course, this is a similar scenario. Germany stacking up the players to deal with the looming threat of Spanish players. Here is Musashi with the judge, already lets loose a couple shots, and it's good enough for a single kill. But that may be where this story starts and ends. Certainly seems to be the case. VALORANT can dismiss for a little bit more, but that kind of position, so compromised, will offer nothing else on the score sheet. A 5th round now for Spain, and while each team's had it their way in spells, certainly seems as if the Iberian team doing a lot better this time.
And you gotta love how Spain are loving this. I mean, they're respecting the buy of Germany, they're taking their time again. They profiteer from a situation where they grab the kill and then it's the initiation right away. Taki just taking position, using the cover, of course, of her cloud in order to allow Fitini to peek. And it's not a matter of trust, but okay, Fitini is fighting, I'm gonna double peek with him. And of course, trading that kill just unlocked the site for an absolute control of this 5th point. Now, football coming from Team Germany, hoping to see some changes here, hoping to see the foundation of Team Germany getting remodeled, reshaped, to better respond to the aggression of Team Spain, which is extremely reliant on a shooting gallery at the entry point of this site. Showstopper and another kill for Fitinho, but stopped right away by Musashi. And things are looking a lot more dicey.
Yeah, Spain have been so direct in the previous couple of rounds. At the same time, though, you'd say the chaos perhaps isn't exactly where they have thrived. Nixerino takes down VALORANT, losing the bulk of his health in the process, and Musashi toppled on B, puts Karina in a retake situation. Everyone on the Spanish side below 100, you like to invite the possibility that this is doable, but I'm not too sure if she was quite caught by the paranoia at the end there. Has the neural theft, but you're really lacking the cages, which you would like to try and cross into the site. Vorwin in the corner. How much credibility do we give to this kind of position? VALORANT could do it before. The focus player and the focus secure game changer trying to make the difference herself, but can't this time around. Spain now up to a 6th on their attacking side.
I mean, a crossfire from hell. There was no chance for Karina. They knew exactly where Karina was. They knew exactly where she was going to peek from. And, well, they just played the card of patience in here. And the accuracy of Vorwin made it just easy to defuse the situation and get this 6th point without much more damage added to the rank. So, things are not really looking good for Germany. They clearly succumbed to pressure. I'm not seeing a lot of steam coming from their machine as, again, VALORANT leading the scoreboard right now for his team, but Musashi, lackluster from what we've seen before. Leosin just gonna get enough chances to shine, to show us what he's capable of. Karina Lil Bob always on the retake, try to solve the situation, but maybe this aggressive push could change things up. But Vorwin says no, and VALORANT insists that it's the case.
No way! He just keeps on going. And while Fitinho can remove Lil Bob from the equation, you've still got to worry about VALORANT, but fret not. Fitinho has arrived, and this game so far has certainly been a standout piece from him. Nixerino making sure there is no further cause for concern with the neural theft. They know about Karina's position this time. With only a Sheriff. Less players stand in front of her, but you don't quite have the machinery you would have been looking for in such a position. It's a double stack towards the backside. We have seen similar instances fall apart from them before. Again, confirmation on her position. Continually walking up looking to see what she can get done, and it won't be anything. Nixerino takes all prospects away, and now Spain, they have the advantage coming into the second half.
Again, that hatless head of Cypher. Sorry, I was a little bit mesmerized. I mean, I wouldn't say mesmerized, that wouldn't be a correct term. I was thinking back as how horrifying it is to, you know, be picked by such a small head. Anyways, all heads are equal, no matter the size, and 7-3 is the scoreline, the header of this game, the header of your screens as well. And Team Germany is just completely struggling. I don't know. I would like to say, okay, maybe it's a lack of preparation on the defensive side of this map. I would like to believe that Team Germany still has hopes to contest this map. Again, it's not a destiny, it's not a finality that I'm wishing for any team participating, but final place will be taken by someone, and Team Germany is dead set on not taking it.
Oh, a couple kills back and forth. Fatino the first in, but ends up falling. 4 versus 2, and it's more for Masashi. Nixerino now the Cypher in the hot seat. And it's just a little bit too much, you think. A minute or so left on the clock, but every single grain of the hourglass will be immediately dumped to the bottom. Germany find a 4th, and they really needed that round. I think they could probably do with a 5th here as well. When the side swap and the change of roles, how much more valuable do you think VALORANT is going to be for them here? How are they going to put this double duelist to use? Because I think Reyna is a lot easier to play perhaps on your defense than your attack. And I just don't know where I see this one going as of right now.
I mean, I completely agree with your point. I completely agree with your hypothesis. You got yourself VALORANT, very dangerous player, very lethal. He's playing a Reyna, which is dependent, of course, on setups. Because you would like to play around the Reyna, right? So got the Olsen opening sights and Reyna picking right behind him. Imagine the potential frags VALORANT could run away with this sort of opening. And we've seen Team Germany. Ooh. But we've seen VALORANT
those in front of him first. Instead, it's Masashi who's in on the act once more. A 5 versus 2 situation presents itself, and it's a similar cast of players put in such a position. One which is quickly removed. Flawless for Germany as they find 5 to finish the half. I cannot stress enough, Moon, how important those last couple of rounds could be to keep them in this game and perhaps even keep them in the tournament at large.
Yes, and it's crucial due to the fact that collecting those 2 points will allow Germany to cover for any sort of blunder happening on the pistol round, right? I mean, initially you're gonna be pushing with VALORANT. We can clearly see that he will be able to capitalize on an orb. In terms of utility, they don't have that much. So, you know, pistol rounds usually go for, you know, some sort of a 50-50, 40-60 at times, depending on the map. And, well, we've seen Team Germany shaky at moments. VALORANT and Musashi have been spearheading the success of this team on those 5 rounds. And, well, maybe the side swap could give us a different narrative as to the way Team Germany will be playing this game, and looks like they're putting all their hopes on capitalizing on site A as the entry is super fast coming up in here, but Nixerino had the right answer.
Lots for him to try and do, looks to be up to the challenge, but Germany have a response. For every push there is a pull, and it happens to be in the right direction for Germany. Oh no, Fatino has opened this one right back up for Germany. Toki only 10 points of health, and it is a funky smoke from Vorwin. Has a TP to work with, but on 100 HP, you wouldn't look to chance it. Toki has spotted a couple of them, but VALORANT takes the next. Pistol of his own. Lil Bob, in fact, the one in this position as the trade comes through. Classic looks away at just the wrong moment, but the readjustment revitalizes Germany. That gap is closing up moment by moment as they get the second pistol round on the board.
And this is where you are going to abuse the speed, this explosiveness or explosivity, I'm not certain, you might correct me later, coming from a race. Leosen and Hero will thrive in this round. Okay, we've seen Team Spain, they're extremely lethal with pistols. Definitely we've seen them on the Sheriffs, we've seen them on the Marshals, on the Guardians. But what logic would say in here right? What numbers would say is that Team Germany shall be able to set up Alrante and Leosen in a perfect way. And speaking of Leosen, he's playing with fire and is able to extinguish it. And that's the duo I've been speaking about.
Yeah, instead, Hispania engulfed by the flames. A German post plant should be one which brings success for them. So with this round looking to be wrapped up, Nick Serino trying to offer a little bit more, but shouldn't last much longer. We go into the full investment. And now this is where I find it interesting to see how both of these teams are really shaping up. Is Valorant going to keep kicking forward on this duelist and finding the opening kills that they're looking for? We've seen Leosen come to life as well. But the big thing for me is going to be Toki's performance, because we heralded her yesterday for how well she started off on Haven. That was defender's side, 4-1 in opening kills. Then when the side swap came through, 1-5 in those engagements. And while it hasn't been the brightest start from her so far, it's these kind of situations where she has a Vandal in hand, or a Phantom as she swaps it over, where she can be a bit more dynamic, look to get them on the board early. But for now, doesn't seem as if Spain will be inviting such a possibility, a slow start from both teams.
Yeah, clearly on a slow start will definitely help Spain shape up their game plan for this round. Usually, you know, from the previous games we've seen that Team Spain happen to be extremely straightforward compared to, you know, other teams. They tend to give out positions very, very quickly. They tend to be very honest with their fights, and like, you know, you take that peek and you die. So seeing Team Spain now retreating, giving that space away is completely fine, as Vitinho, I'm sorry, here taking advantage of his position, getting a kill. Yuri doing the same. And the Germans are left with only 2 players. Lil Bob and Karina trying to make something happen on site A, but the rotation is instant from Nick Serino. Might be able to interrupt their plan, and
you would certainly think so, and a foregone conclusion perhaps. 2 kills found, the foreheads planted with a bullet in the center. Nicely done from him. Hearing the footsteps, the rotation there, I was worried for Lil Bob's life for a moment as she ran out of heaven. You saw how close by Vorwin was keeping to things. But a strong round from Spain keeps them in the lead. Moreover, it re-establishes that factor on this defensive side, and with the first gun round out of the way, we go into the next. And in fact, it is Toki, the one concession on the Guardian when you look at the difference in weaponry for both teams.
clearly, and we've seen Toki on the Guardian though. I'm not having any sort of, you know, disbelief in her ability to turn things around for her team with that weapon. Especially if you take a look at her position, she's playing, you know, the long angles. If anybody would be peeking on A, she would stand a lot of chances to run away with this, but Team Germany are clustering around mid right now and looking for a way towards site A, and
oh, and the fight is taken, and unfortunately enough for Toki, isn't one out. Didn't seem as if Spain really had an idea of how far advanced Germany's mid control was up until that point. So the clash of the duelists and the opening kills I was talking about comes to the forefront with Alorante opening things up for them. 2 players on either side of the map for this Spanish defense, and Germany looking to carry on forwards on B, and Vitinho, completely overlooked from this position, has already found 2 and makes it a 3rd. Closes things out with a 9th for Spain, and the gap goes back to what it was coming after 12 rounds played.
it's incredible that, you know, as a defender, you lose control of mid and split. Now you're left with 4 players that are completely disconnected from each other, and the only way to rotate safely would be the long way from A to B, right? 2 players were enough to hold their ground on side B and defend it from the approach of Team Germany. And in all honesty, I'm starting to see the Vitinho that we have been hailing from the beginning.
Yeah. And like we said, the narrative was coming into this as Toki gets a tag, but no frag. Vitinho being the only player currently on a VCT roster of the 3 who had played at least 1 game for their respective side in EMEA International League last year, or earlier this year, I should say. All eyes fixated on 2024, but the precursor to it will be Spike Nations, and Vorwin, the man from Challengers, gets the Spanish side underway instead.
They have been uncovered on heaven. That was a good flash from Yuri. The timing was excellent. And
Again, good early mid control here for Germany.
I'm led to believe that Spain are leaving mid on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a lot of fighting from them on that position, but well, that's a bullet that this guy will remember forever.
Feels as if maybe they don't have enough proactivity elsewhere to warrant such a hold, because when push comes to shove, they're the ones ending up on their backside. Last couple rounds have looked decent, but 3v2 retake with the op. Do you wish to wager such weaponry? Pink slip of sorts. Vorwin goes for the smoke, and the first initial tap is met to bait out the gravity well. There is still time left in this to potentially stick it out, but Germany are not offering any clean duels whatsoever. Vorwin's got to work. Toki needs to be the star.
Oh, no way.
She shines bright yet again. What a resurgence here. Operator picked back up, but it's the Vandal which stands out the best.
You want to talk about how this was played? It was played to perfection by Germany. The setup, the positions, the intent of double peeking, triple peeking even, but Toki here was just the fastest clicker on the mouse. The fastest one and the most accurate one. She didn't miss any of those pixels, and that made the difference. What she was exposed to two different angles, to 3 players with info and intel on where exactly she was, and yet she buys enough time for VALORANT to get rid of the spike and run away with 3 kills. Impressive.
And now an opportunity to take some cleaner fights. With an operator in hand, it was the biggest catalyst for her picking up eliminations in the previous day.
Oh my god, what a disaster.
You can see why they call him the prodigal son of Spain, because he puts Germany in a world of pain. 3 big kills as they're vying for that homecoming run. And for him to be heralded as the hero, both teams into the playday sitting in the drop zone, only one can remain. It is a dog-eat-dog world, and Germany are getting eaten alive inside mid right now. Toki's considering the peak on one more and even has the blades to go with it. Lil Bob 1v5, and it feels like a matter of time. The death sentence pre-written out and executed by none other than Fortinio.
That must hurt. That must hurt. You're in position, you're taking mid. You're against Toki. Toki missed 2 bullets, she's stuck in a corner. And while you're expecting to get rid of her and to regain control of mid for the first time for rounds, Team Spain appears with Fortinio with a showstopper, and you just, with 1 click, instantly lose 3 players. How horrible that must feel.
Spain have really kicked this into a second gear in the second half. Germany, while it may be a technical pause, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see one of the tactical variety in Capio included from the coach slot. Because right now, again, it feels like we're trying to play through individuals. Valorante's having a brilliant game. I don't think he's had a poor performance so far this tournament, but a team is comprised of 5 players, not 1 after all, and amongst the rest, it's been fairly middling, I think it's fair to say. Moon.
Well, you know, we can't even conclude the game yet. We do agree in here that on a tactical level, Team Spain is just getting better by leaps and bounds. In all fairness, I do believe that if Team Spain was playing at this level from the get-go, the rankings would have been completely different from what we're seeing right now. And what's even more impressive is that, looking at the cameras of Team Germany, we're seeing a lot of laughter in here. They're not feeling the pressure, while the score is telling a different story, 11-7.
Yeah. I mean, you can make comments about whether the past could have been different or not. Fact of the matter is, the 3 teams that Spain have previously faced have all now already qualified for the live stage. Of course, we're talking of France, Turkey, and most recently last night, Team UK. So, yeah, a bumpy road, I think it's fair to say. But if they can take the win here against Germany, you go into that game tomorrow against Italy with newfound confidence, and you can begin that Cinderella homecoming run that I was speaking about, right? Like, from the depths of despair to the live stage and a home crowd, which I don't want to say is going to be enough to bring them to a trophy or, you know, like a top 3 finish, for example. But you can see improvements being made day on day, and that is most important, I feel, for them at this point in time, at least.
And one story that could be applied to Team Spain so far, if you want to go towards the Roman side, would be the race of the turtle and the rabbit, right? So we've had this explosive start from Team France, Turkey again, right? Going bonkers on their opponents, not missing any opportunity to just like run away with the game, and got Team Spain slowly but surely shaping up into a potential challenger. I mean, there's a lot left to define with the remaining games, but I like what I'm seeing right now from Team Spain. I mean, I'm actually happy for Team Spain because we got to see their potential. Now, I don't want to say that, you know, the matchup was unfair. You're coming into competition, which means that you're either battling equals or better players, which is actually experience, right? And the core of the game, the goal of the game is to actually outsmart and outwit your opponent. It's not a matter of difference of level in here. And I think Spain bringing this, because we've seen a lot of opportunity for Germany to shine, is a good addition to what we've been watching so far.
It does begin to feel like they are slowly starting to fit the mold, Spain, of the team we had envisioned them as. Whether they shape up in enough time and dampen or otherwise, I think has been a pretty landmark, eye-opening performance from Italy, who are effectively your other challenger for that final spot. But yeah, it's a slow conclusion to this game. It's felt pretty close the whole time here. Callbacks to previous games between Spanish and German teams. South Africa 2010, the Durban Stadium. Carlos Puyol header, 73rd minute. I don't know if that one rings any bells for you, Moon, perhaps.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that was the South African World Cup.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I mean, you know, I think that was probably the best World Cup edition in history.
I mean, for Spain, it certainly would be, and I think production would agree that it's their favourite World Cup. It was the only one that they've won so far. The Euros came swiftly after it, and this is a European competition after all, so perhaps likeness should be taken there instead. Not much of a football fan yourself, Moon?
No, I am. I actually grew up with football.
Oh, nice.
That's...
What team do you support? Not to paint any target on your back by people.
I'd rather not. I would rather not. I'll be literally putting a target on my back, so I'll keep it for myself.
I'm happy to celebrate my support, or at least announce myself as a fan of Norwich City. We know all about the highs and lows, mate. It is up and down, non-stop. And right now, certainly feels like a whole lot of a downer.
Yeah, okay, so my team actually does pull out Norwich.
Giving you the confidence to...
That's a suggestive approach, right? But who am I to say no to you, right? As long as it pleases my mate in here. So my team actually does pull out the Norwich scarves at occasions, as of recent years. I do think that's...
Oh, okay. I know. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yep.
Yeah. Bit of a red devil, you could say. And,
I mean, not so much of a devil right now, but...
No, a hornless beast of sorts. And just to sort of pull things back to the game for a moment, Germany, they got some sharp tools, but they do feel a little bit blunted on this attacking side. Players should now be reconnecting so we can get ready to go into the next. Looking at what exactly weapons they've got to work with. Couple Guardians and a Vandal. In fact, balls to the wall. They go for a full set of rifles, I think. Couple Bulldogs in the mix as well. Ultimates to work with. Moon setting up into the most important round of the game so far.
It is a pivotal round, and the commitment of Germany with the weaponry in here makes absolute sense. They don't want to play with the pressure of this might be my last round, but Leo Sen begins by committing suicide in here. He
Yeah.
could not dodge that damage. Oh no, oh no.
Talking the weapons that Germany has, Leosin has pulled out a spade and dug himself an early grave. Here's the raise on the other side of the server for Tinio to make the difference. It's Lil Bob in a 1 versus 4, which he cannot convert. Spain on map and elimination point for Germany to eject their rivals and set all eyes on that final matchup tomorrow night.
And that's the moment you will recall for the whole 8 minutes of the next shower you would take, right? Like, oh my god, how did that happen? If that's not a cause for trauma, I don't know. You gotta feel bad for Leo in here. The intention was good, but oh my god, that's so unlucky. And after all that commitment, all those crats spent, and well, Germany is still able to salvage a couple, no, 4 to be accurate, double that down. Vandals with a dog, and maybe they would do it now. Maybe they would do it now.
5 rounds required, a 5-star performance is necessitated of Germany. Early duel from Toki's op, and they find themselves stopped dead in their tracks. Cosmic Divide comes through, but no space taken off the back of it. Blinding Light comes back in towards Garage and confirms to Yuri that there's nobody there, and Germany find themselves in the all too familiar position of mid once more. Vorwin, they're next to take the duel, but backs away from it. Yuri follows it up. Germany, it's crunch time for them. They've got to hit the site, but they're falling like flies. The dominoes into place. And it all started with Italy losing out earlier. Spain given an opportunity, and it's one which they have ran away with, Moon.
Feels bad. It really does feel bad. It really does. And you'd hate to be in the boots of Musashi right now. That moment where you're thinking, okay, I could bring this back. Could bring my team back. The odds are against me, I could do it. Time for a motivational speech in here from Musashi, but Nick Sereno just missing the opportunity. No!
Both players walked away. I don't know, Nick Sereno spots it just in the end. And Spain hold on for one more. The great escape is on. They look to be paving a golden road to the streets of Madrid. It's a destination unknown for now, but certainly a win that can put a smile on the face, which otherwise you can take the S away. It had been all pain for them up until that point in time.
And I think after all that suffering through the first 3 games where they were greatly outmatched, I think that this does justice to the potential of Team Spain. We've finally seen them how we're supposed to see them. We've finally seen all those players combine together and bring about what Team Spain is supposedly to bring about, at least partially, not completely. So the potential is limitless for Team Spain, but you have to feel bad for Team Germany. All this talent, all those capabilities come into place. They did perform super well on the first 2 days, but then again, when it counted the most, where it mattered the most, they just failed to find that final nail to put in the coffin of their opponents, starting with the game of UK and so on. An underachievement all along from Team Germany, and well, what we do believe is that they're definitely worth much more than that.
Yeah, a couple of close losses to kick things off will cut their tournament lives short. So much expectation for Germany, and the same word can be copied and pasted to Spain. We had high hopes of them, and finally they are starting to make their way back up the ladder. It proves us to be in an exciting position coming into that final game day now, and I really cannot look forward more to what we have in store for you when the live stage does arrive. But for now, to tie up the end of today and provide you with another interview and some more hard-hitting analysis, it's going to be Pavlos and Ryan. Take it away, boys.
I love how you call it hard-hitting every time, as if, you know, we're going to start punching into analysis right away, but no. What was cool about this match is that Spain has kept their hopes alive into making it to playoffs with their match against Italy tomorrow. But what is actually definitive is that Germany is out. No more Germany in playoffs, which is certain. I think they will be playing in Spain anyway in a show match of sorts. But hey, you're not part of the tournament anymore, so does it really matter?
Yeah, it means that tomorrow they can just go in to their last game, have a bit of fun, and just really, I don't know, try and get something going. I felt here again like Spain, we expected them to be performing a lot stronger. They had a typical Spain start. not only did they win the pistol dominantly, but then Valorant pulls out the sheriff and wins the 50 straight afterwards. And I think it was round 4 that like Spain win a 4 versus 2 in the post plant and ended up losing it. So it kind of felt like business as usual potentially for Spain to falter when it matters the most. But they had a good revitalization in that first half, able to pull it back in a good position. And overall, I think they were just in full control. Like Germany didn't seem to have many moments where they were really on top.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, there were many moments, I think, that Spain had revitalization, as you mentioned it, right? There were moments where Toki delivered a finishing blow to 3 players when a teammate was defusing. There were moments where Coutinho just launched down mid with a showstopper and ended up with 4 kills out of nowhere, right? There were plenty of heroic moments where Spain were just feeling on the server and started taking on their opponents successfully. And with that reason, they'll be coming out on top. Now, on Germany's side, do you think there was they've improved throughout this event so far, or has it been fairly stagnant from them?
I'd say stagnant. Like, it's been okay. It's sort of varied from map to map, really. But I think it's more, maybe like Germany have looked like at a decent level. But I think some of the other teams, like the UK, Spain, especially Italy, have been improving each day. So it's kind of made it very difficult, I think, for Germany to get a footing, really. And I imagine at this point, confidence is pretty low. And if Spain starts to really snowball some rounds, it can be kind of difficult to pull it back from that point, if they'll.
Yeah, exactly. I do believe we will be looking at the MVP of this match right now. For me, it's got to be Coutinho doing an excellent job up until that point. Up until like all of those points, right? Multi-kills all across the board. Everywhere he seemed to be present. And yeah, there were a lot of impact kills throughout the entire match.
And it was just nice to see that solo VCT International League player actually can have that level of performance like he did well yesterday, moving over to the Sentinel in place of Toki playing Jet on Haven. But I think the first couple of games we really didn't see too much from him. Here it sort of was a nice reminder of how much impact he can have as a player, and when he's paired alongside Toki, that is a scary double duelist duo that can really scare any team at this top level.
Absolutely. I think when you look at Spain as well, what they'll be looking for with this qualification is also having their home crowd support over at LAN, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why everybody would be rooting for Spain after all, because that's what you really want to see, right? At the end of the day, you want to see a local crowd cheer for this team, especially when it's looking so good on paper. You actually want to see it perform so well on the server as well. So I'm glad we got to see that. Ryan, what are your thoughts in general from today's matches before we jump into an interview? Actually, how about we jump into the interview straight away, because I do believe we've got it ready. I believe it is Forwen that we've got with us on the broadcast. Yeah, let's bring him on in. Hello, Forwen. Congrats on the victory.
Thank you very much. It was a rough game, but slowly we finally got the win.
I'm glad you did. So how are you seeing progression come with Spain so far with the roster you've got going on? How have you been able to achieve finally a victory today?
Yeah, I mean we had a really rough start since we had some tournament in Spain being played. So 2 of our players couldn't play with us. So then once we actually could practice with them, we played 3 days. We played some pracs. We started playing under the same ideas, like a plan. And then now everything is working. Yesterday we were so close. I think we could have won, but today was finally the goal.
Outside of the things that you just mentioned, what the hell was going wrong last week? Like, you had some really tough games against like Turkey and France, but especially against France, it just seemed like you couldn't get anything going. So in the server, what was going wrong? What was Lucas trying to talk about in the timeouts? Because it felt like it was so difficult for you to really get an opening, right? To get going.
I feel like we just didn't understand each other, Some of our players come from a tier 1 experience, really good players, and we want to play the game in a really nice way, but then you come down to the point it's a new team, and you cannot really overthink or play like too complicated. You have to keep it simple, which is not easy, to be honest. Like doing simple things the right way is not easy, and we finally did after some practice. So to be honest, we're just playing simple, but it's working.
So I asked this question earlier to your boy Lewis from Team UK, but I'll ask you the same thing for you. If you could pick out anyone from Spain that isn't currently in your team to play on your roster, who would it be?
Mixwell.
Mixwell. All right.
Bring him out of
100%.
retirement.
100%.
Bring Pappy back, yeah.
And who would you replace him with, though? Who would you take out?
I don't even mind. I mean, it's just a better player. It would be the best for the team. It doesn't matter who goes out. I think Vitinho can't go out. Yuri cannot go out neither. So I'm the man, you know? I'm the man who go out.
You mentioned that you've been actually scrimming and getting on the same page. There's been some teams that haven't really been putting in the server time, to say the very least. I guess how important is this tournament for you? Because Mixwell had the stream announced to the squad, had 5,000, 6,000 viewers. People really care, it seems, about how well the Spain team does. Is that a lot of pressure for you to deal with, or are you just it's fine? It's all support, it's all love from the Spanish community. There's no expectations.
I mean, I love pressure. It's not easy when there's too much pressure, because when this is neither a pro tournament, but it's not neither a fun tournament. It's like a between. So you really have to try hard the tournament, even though you don't have the time to do it. So it's a mixed feelings. So of course, the Spanish fan base, it's so huge. And at the end of the day, they are harsh towards you if you lose, but it's because they want you to win. It's not in a toxic way. The reason why they're mad when you lose is because they really want you to win. So it's a beautiful end, you know? So when we finally get the win, like a day, like today, it's going to be super nice on social media, you know? I think it doesn't matter if you lose sometimes. When you win, the Spanish community is one of the greatest. So yeah, it's pressure, but you know, it pays off.
All right, as a final question here, what do you look forward to the most playing against Italy tomorrow? What can we expect from you in regards to performance?
I mean, I think I've been playing really good individually the whole tournament.
Oh, yeah. Your Sylvie yesterday was great.
Yeah, my Sova was clean, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for myself, I guess I'll keep just making the right calls. You know, I'm the IGL on the team. So I just hope to see my teammates like Toki, Vitinho drop a lot of kills, and finally they get us a win against Italy.
Love it. Thank you so much, Forwin, for joining us for the interview.
Thanks,
it's been great.
guys. Have a good night.
Awesome. Two great interviews today. I think we've been very, very lucky. Any thoughts after that one, Brian?
I mean, it sets up tomorrow so well, right? Spain versus Italy, who's getting that final spot to make top 4 and end up in the semi-finals. I guess it would be, if you're in 4th place, probably against Turkey. That'd be the first semi-final. So a hard game to go for, but it's the difference between actually making the semi-final or not. So both teams are going to try and give it their all.
Well, after today's events, we have shaken up the rankings a little bit. So let's have a look at the standings here to see how things have gone. Turkey, the first team to go 4 wins and also not drop a single match, while France had to succumb to the former team mentioned. UK grabbing another important win against Italy, locking in their spot into playoffs for LAN in Spain in December. Well, Italy has another fight against Spain tomorrow to see who will be locking in that 4th and final seed. What a day has this been?
I mean, yeah, UK versus Turkey tomorrow could upset the balance, the seeding there potentially. Otherwise, it's looking pretty clear on what the semi-finals could look like, right? It's Turkey versus Italy and Spain, and then France versus UK could be a rematch that we see in the semis later on in December. Unfortunately, it's done so for Germany. You can blame Zesh for that for some reason, I'm sure, but yeah, I think it's really set the final day of groups up to be worth watching for either seeding or actually seeing who's going to qualify for the top 4.
Exactly. It feels like teams are taking this seriously now. It feels like, you know, at the start they were a little bit slow to it because of their busy schedules and, you know, priorities get set. But now that they've got time to think more into this tournament and have some extra practice in and actually know that there is a little bit more into this than they thought, and that national pride actually takes precedence, we'll be seeing more epic matches to follow. All right. Okay. So this match overall, could you pick out a favorite match out of today, Ryan? Do you reckon?
I think the final one, really. I think the other 2 games were fairly one-sided, disappointedly so, I think, for Italy and France especially. Those 2 teams I wanted to see more out of. But the last game, I feel like Germany did give it a good go, but it was nice to finally see that Spanish team really get their footing. 4 games late, but they got there in the end.
They did indeed. Now, I do really want to give a thanks to our sponsors for today, Alienware and Intel, making this whole event possible and making it look beautiful as it is. We're very much looking forward to tomorrow and playoffs as well. I also want to make you guys look into the socials of this event. It's all down below in the streams that you're watching, as well as our own, as you can see on the tags that we have just below our names. And yeah, I wish you a very, very good day. Have a nice evening, and make sure you tune in again tomorrow. Thanks a lot, everyone, and stay tuned for tomorrow. Bye.
Celebration, celebrate, 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 celebration, celebrate. Hey, what's your style? What you drinking? What's your vibe? I've been feeling rather sad in the corner of my class. Boy, what's your style? What you drinking? What's your vibe? I've been feeling rather sad. Oh yeah. Don't be mean. You're here all alone and you know it. Hang on, 'cause we're gonna turn it up. Don't you see? I'm here all alone and I like it. Baby, don't please try to fight it. Pour it up with the blue champagne, blue champagne, blue champagne. Let's celebrate with the blue champagne, blue champagne. All my feelings run away in a sip of all the colors. Celebrate with the blue champagne, blue champagne. I'm in Mexico, you see, and no way I'm feeling bueno. Got a hot streak on my E, sweating worse than a volcano. I'm only starting the week, don't try to take this from me. I'm on a roll, come here and work it with me. Come here and work it with me. Don't you see? I'm here all alone and I like it. Baby, don't please try to fight it. Pour it up with the blue champagne, blue champagne, blue champagne. Let's celebrate with the blue champagne, blue champagne. All my feelings run away in a sip of all the colors. Celebrate with the blue champagne, blue champagne. Oh, how far can we go? Oh, how far can we go? Put your body on the floor, show how far we can go. Oh, how far can we go? Oh, how far can we go? Put your body on the floor. Celebrate with a blue champagne. Celebrate, celebration, celebrate, 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 celebration, celebrate. Celebrate, celebration, celebrate, 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 celebration, celebrate. Hey, what's your style? What you drinking? What's your vibe? I've been feeling rather sad in the corner of my class. Boy, what's your style? What you drinking? What's your vibe? I've been feeling rather sad. Oh yeah. Pouring up with the blue champagne, blue champagne, blue champagne. Let's celebrate with the blue champagne, blue champagne. All my feelings run away in a sip of all the colors. Celebrate with the blue champagne, blue champagne. How far can we go? How far can we go? Put your body on the floor, show how far we can go. How far can we go? How far can we go? Put your body on the floor. Celebrate with the blue champagne. Celebrate, celebration, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate.